Denver, Colorado. Weighing in at Little Homie, Don.
Oh, I can't wait to see this one.
Of all the superstars on the roster, this guy is amongst the hardest working. That goes without saying.
Definitely shout out to Don Chaos. Much love to Carnival Spirits.
Shout out to you, Don Chaos. You've been putting in work, bro. Respect.
Congrats to Don Chaos for 1,000 subscribers. Whoop, whoop.
Keep it going, man.
Congratulations, Don Chaos. Yes, keep it going, man. Good luck to you, fucking Don Chaos, and fucking hell yeah on your 1,000 fucking followers.
Yeah, you know who it is. It's Ouija Mac, bitch. Shout out to Carnival Spirits. And fucking shout out to Don Chaos one time. You know what's going on.
This is my brother. Don Chaos and Brother Lynch on here.
Yeah, and Carnival Spirits, what's up, man? Don Chaos, what's up? It's your boy Brother Lynch, and we out here tonight. Let's go.
Fuego Flames and my nigga Don Chaos. What's going on, B? It's my brother right here, it's my boy. Excuse the left, excuse the left.
Going up, y'all. This is Don Chaos, and I'm with a very legendary man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hey, Sean. Yeah, we at the gathering, y'all.
Radio show of the year. This one's always controversial. And coming in at number one, we got Hours of Chaos with Don Chaos. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, congratulations, man. Don Chaos, Hours of Chaos.
Yo. What is good, everyone? Y'all already know who this is. This is Mr. D to the O to the N to the C to the H to the A to the O to the S. Your friendly neighborhood JUGGALO. The Karma Millionaire. If you don't know, now you know. If you still don't know, well, then it sucks to be you. We are back with the Hours of Chaos podcast, episode 262, y'all. We are still on the official road to the 300th episode of this podcast, y'all. Can you guys believe that? This show's been on the air for 8 years, and we're almost at 300 episodes. That is insane. Of course, tonight, we are going to be joined by Lyonz. He's making his debut on the Hours of Chaos podcast. We've actually been talking to him about coming on the show for a while, and you could say the stars aligned or the planets aligned, because you know this weekend 6 planets in our solar system are going to be visible from the sky. So maybe that has something to do with it. Of course, we are going to be doing a giveaway. Lyonz is going to be giving away his new album, which drops tomorrow. We're going to be giving away 2 copies, y'all. So he is waiting in the green room. I know he's been wanting to get on the show for a while. So let's go ahead and everyone please welcome, making his debut on the Hours of Chaos podcast, the one, the only, Lyonz.
What up? Whoop whoop. What's going on, famo?
What's up, man? Of course, welcome to the show. Like I've told the audience, we've talked to each other about getting you on here for a while, and I guess it was the perfect time, finally.
Yeah, man. When I started doing music, and we'll get all into that stuff during the interview, I had found your show. That's kind of how after a little bit of a time off from the Juggalo scene as I grow older, and I decided to get back into it, just how I'm like, oh, let's see what they got going on nowadays. What are these kids up to? And shout out to Don Chaos for being able to catch me up to speed. So hell yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah. Now, what drew you to my show? Which episode was that? Because we've done so many episodes since then.
And I've smoked so much weed since then, it's kind of a blur. All I know is that the name and the brand stuck out. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So you know, when you go on these other shows, no offense to some of the other ninjas out there, but you know, they don't have that sense of professionalism in their presentation. So that's something on yours that stuck out to me, you know.
Oh yeah, and obviously we both know Strife, so he was helping us get connected. And
Shout
stuff.
out the homie Strife, absolutely, and also shout out Mr. Will Gates.
Yep. So yeah, what we do, like when we first have someone on the show when it's their first time, you just give a little brief introduction, who you are, where you're from, and then yeah, we will ask with the questions.
Yeah, for sure. So again, my name is Lyonz. I'm from Southern California, currently in what they call the high desert, which consists of a whole lot of nothingness between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. But within this nothingness, within this dirt ball, as I call it, there is a group of absolutely fantastic performers such as JB Music. Shout out JB Music. He's in the chat supporting me, got his gear on. We did some music together. Mike Storm as well. And essentially, I'm going to be 41 this year. And long story short, I really got into the scene when I was 18, 19 years old, right? Went to the mini gatherings and did all the fun stuff out here with various lows, and got my brand when I was 18. Got my Hatchet Man on here. So I had done a lot of stuff. I always wanted to be a pro wrestler when I was younger. As anybody, we all just grew up watching WWF. We just all wanted to be wrestlers at some point.
Yeah, I did.
So I did that for a little while, and my wrestling name happened to be Chris Lyons. And after I kind of gave that up, I went into various other things, just keeping the name Lyons. I did some gaming. I have a Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/LionsDen Productions. And I was trying to get some gaming going for a while. And I've been into ICP since, I'd say, Jekyll Brothers era, around 99 when they were like in that WWF. And I was like, oh, who are these guys? You know, like, or 97, I'm sorry. And as I got into it, I went out to all the shows, meet and greets, never been to the gathering, unfortunately. But growing up in that era of ICP, the classic ICP, is what made me fall in love with the scene, fall in love with the family.
Same here. That's around the same time that I discovered them. But at that time, I was like 8 years old. And I was like, God, I've been into this since I was 8 years old. That's insane.
I know, man. And it was just so unique and different at the time. And I'm like, you know, and addicting. So I fell in love with it. I stopped listening, though, for a while. I'll be honest with you. I know there's a lot of changes politically in the scene. There's also been a generational change within the scene. So, you know, we have the Ouija Max, which I am a fan of, you know, and we'll get into that in a second. But there's so much of a shift within the scene now. As I told you earlier, we decided, let me check on these guys. Let me see what they're getting into. And I discovered Ouija Mac. And I'm like, this is good. It's good. Like, it was good music. I just wasn't ready for that style, right? And something clicked in my head going, why don't you try doing what you like? Like, if no one else is doing the style you like, why don't you try it? And I just started messing around with stuff and recording really crappy mixes. And long story short, some of my stuff started catching on with SoCal Juggalos. Shout out SoCal Juggalos, by the way. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have even been given any say so. But he started liking my stuff. He goes, you got to get your stuff mixed and mastered, right? Got me in touch with some people, and music started taking off because it is sort of wild and much more the style of your Jekyll Brothers, your Ringmasters, your that nice little chunk of the golden era. And I've just been running with it.
Exactly. And that's what I noticed when I first heard your music. I'm like, this reminds me of like Jekyll Brothers, like vibes. It gives me even like Redman vibes, because, you know, Redman used to be crazy off the top of the wall too with his lyrics.
Oh yeah, loved Redman. I just loved anything that would tell a story.
Me too.
It's cool to have bars. It's cool to be the best rapper. I will tell you right now, I am a shitty lyricist. Okay, I'm not your. Let me walk up into your place and start doing rap battles with you. No, I come up with a story, listening to a beat, I write my shit down, and I present it like a book or a movie or however you'd like it. And that's how I've always liked my music, something I can envision happening. What's the reason behind the song? Like, what's the story behind it? Or are you just trying to show me you can rhyme 5 different ways the same 3 words? Like, what's... Not dissonant, I'm just saying that's always been my preference of rap and lyricism.
And that's always been me. I like all types of rap and hip hop and music, but all of my favorite music that I really enjoy is like stuff that's visual. Like you can like visualize like what the person's talking about, and that's why we always say Jay will go down as one of the great storytellers in the genre too.
Oh yeah, and I'll say to this day, he's again him and Shaggy just. That whole, I'll even go to say it, that whole little family era, as they say, with everybody together. And that right there was probably like, if you lived through that, which most of us my age have, it's going to be your golden ages to look back on and want to recreate or just bring that joy back from in some sense.
Exactly. And I've noticed that even with like rap music, a lot of like storytelling rap is like making a comeback like in a major way, and I love it.
Yeah, they gotta do something because my whole reason I started doing my music, my style, even just in general, was because no one else was, and I was just like, even if nobody else messed with it, I'd listen to it. So that's just me.
Like another artist that people talk about that used to do crazy off the top of the wall stuff, rest in peace, was the legendary ODB.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that Wu-Tang Clan era of ODB was very special. He did the song Bitches with ICP, which is going to be a classic. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you had his crazy off the top of the wall music videos. Like, remember in the song Got My Money, he's all dressed like Rick James in that video. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was ahead of his time. He knew attention was currency, you know?
Hell yeah. So since we're on the topic of before ICP, like everyone has that music that they listened to before they discovered ICP. If you can remember, what was like the first piece of music that you like fell in love with, or the first artist? Like me, I fell in love probably like with Prince, Michael Jackson, and a lot of like old rock because that's what my parents listened to.
Oh, it's fascinating. I grew up again, as I mentioned, in the LA area, and we had two big radio stations: Power 106 for rap and hip hop, and K Rock for rock. My folks listened to more of, my mom listened to disco, my dad was more classical music. We could not be more different in what we liked. So I actually started off elementary school listening to rap, listening to Power 106 and hip hop, and just being that weird white boy that just liked rap and knew all the rap. But when someone brought up Metallica for the first time, I never knew who they were, because I was so focused on the rap side of things and Cypress Hill and that whole era. And then as I grew up, I'm half Hispanic, and I hung out with a lot of Mexican friends that played soccer, and they got me into Spanish rock, which I thought was pretty cool at the time in my junior high days. So I listened to a lot of that, and Bone Thugs and Harmony at the time was my favorite hip hop group.
Oh yeah,
straight up Bone Thugs, East 1999, Art of War, that whole era was just right. So then right into high school, I did start getting into more of the American rock, because I was like, oh, if I like Spanish rock, maybe I was like, hey, they do this in English too, So then I started getting into the Rage Against the Machine and all those other bands. So I kind of went through that whole smorgasbord of whatever I thought was cool at the time. And then again, I'm watching I'm watching wrestling, and then ICP's showing up, and they're doing their thing, and we're like, who are these guys? These guys are dope. And the two of the older guys at my school started representing them. They just started repping them. They were going to the Wicked Clowns from Outer Space tour, the first one. And from then on, like, they pretty much recruited me into liking ICP as well, because they take me along to all the little events and the shows and gatherings and stuff. And yeah, so a lot of it though was primarily hip hop until I got turned on to the rock scene.
Oh yeah, and I've never like put myself in a bubble, so that's what I like when I meet other juggalos that don't just put themselves in a bubble. Like when I meet other juggalos that go, you know what, I just like music. I'm like, same here.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if I just like music regardless of any genre, if it makes me feel a certain way, then I'll like it.
Yeah, and now and nowadays, a lot of folks will laugh at me because I've gotten more into Japanese music, surprisingly. But did you know that Japan is one of the top 2 countries that are producing music in the world?
They do,
So
and I've learned that about foreign music, that just because it's foreign, if it still makes you feel a certain way, you can still like it. Like Rammstein, they spoke German, and I don't know a lick of German. I know some now, but back then I didn't, but I still liked it.
and if it's good enough, shit, you might as well start learning a new language, which I started doing with Japanese. I liked it so much and got into now I start listening to all the kawaii metal, anything female front woman based heavy metal that also sounds cute and girly. Fuck it, I'm in. I like that shit. You know, it gives me that sense of, you know, that nice middle mix of cute beauty with heavy, again, blaz and death metal.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend both love baby metal, and we were like, damn, it would be awesome if they could get baby metal to play the gathering.
That probably would never happen, unfortunately,
because they're so big now.
Well, not only that, but I think also just they're Japanese. They've got this different. Their management, I'd say, would probably not like that stuff because of the drugs and whatever. But exactly. But in the perfect world, oh fuck yeah, that'd be so sick. There are a lot of bands. Funny story about baby metal. They're not my favorite metal band, but they're my favorite musical group.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. As I was getting into music, I was still sort of really standing for baby metal, you know, and I was like, oh, they're coming to Las Vegas. I got tickets and I got like a hotel. I was gonna go, but right up the street from me is a venue. And I had the opportunity. Something inside me told me, see if you have a chance to play this, like, because there was a bunch of local hip hop artists, and I said, see if they'll let you on. And I didn't know anybody. I had just moved out to this area, so I just reached out, said, hey, you know, Mike Storm, shout out Mike Storm. Said, hey, Mr. Storm, my name is Lyonz, and, you know, I'm doing music and I'm right up the street. I was wondering if I could have some time on your show. And he graciously said, yeah, come on in. And unfortunately, that was the day of the show, baby metal show I was supposed to go to. So I ended up saying, okay, I sold my tickets, canceled my hotel, did the show. And I never looked back, because now, I'm not to toot my horn, but I'm now more well known in the area because of that. Since now that opened the doors for doing other shows, and I'm meeting more people. So I'll always owe it to that kind of day where I just made that decision. As much as I love this band, I'm gonna go do something for myself and sacrifice this, and it worked out, you know. So that's my little baby metal story.
Hell yeah. And since we're on the topic of wrestling, like, what was like your introduction to wrestling? For me, I've been into wrestling since I was about 2 or 3, and I remember very clearly the first 2 wrestlers I fell in love with was The Undertaker and Razor Ramon.
My very first, I remember vividly, my very first time seeing it on TV was my dad was flipping the channels. he didn't like wrestling. But my friends at school would tell me, I was like in elementary school, talking about, oh, have you seen, wrestling? And I'm like, what is it? And they described it to me. And then one day he's flipping through the channels and I see Rick Rude in a robe choking out some dude in the ring. And I'm like, oh, this is wrestling. And then Dad just left it there. And I started watching it ever since with the Yokozuna, the Hulk Hogan near that kind of like the tail end of his good guy run before he went to WCW. And I became addicted. Like, you just plop me in front of the TV and I'm watching like this. It was like the greatest thing I had ever seen in my life. Then I go to school and I can't stop thinking about it. And then my friends were all talking about it. And then other people were asking me about it. And then I got them interested. And it was a whole big, it was a great time to be a fan during that 90s pre-internet era,
Agreed.
And then, and then I would just try to seek out as much wrestling as I could. Found WCW. And then I found ECW, which ended up being my favorite. And then it just, and then Stone Cold actually was also my favorite when I was in junior high school. So yeah, that whole little era was fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, I loved that too, and that's why I always tell people, me being a juggler and a wrestling fan, like, go hand in hand together. Like, that's how I discovered ICP, was through wrestling. But at the time, because I was a kid and I didn't understand, I didn't know they were making music until I knew that from kids at school. I thought they were just a wrestling tag team.
Yeah, same here. And because those guys at my school at the time ended up doing research on them, and they were like, hey man, they had the CD player. They're like, hey man, listen to this. And they're putting Fuck the World on my head, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing my teenage male hormones have ever heard in my life. Just fuck everything. I'm so angry at everything. And but I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. And then from there it just kind of took a life of its own.
Yeah, I always love telling people that story. I was like, and then when I heard their music, when I heard Faygo, because I was starting to get into more rap music, I didn't know Faygo was a soda. I thought it was a brand of alcohol at first.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what Faygo was at all either. We had a store out here in Southern California called Galco's, and we were trying so hard to find Faygo, and Galco's was sort of like a Bevmo, but it was like a privately owned Bevmo. And we all used to just roll up in there, usually faces painted up, before we went to a mini gathering at Universal Studios, and just get the glass bottle Faygo, the really good shit.
Yep, with the old looking logo. I remember that.
Yeah, with the little crown logo. You just hear cling, 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 cling. All the bottles just being put into the carts. And they were always like, what's up with this soda? They were like, just like, don't worry about it. It's a long story. But yeah. The 2 liters were always good too. I've never really, is it me or have the, those little small ones you might see now in the bottle?
Yeah.
They always seem a little flat to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes it's probably just because they've been shaken too many times, or who knows.
I guess.
Yeah, I remember those days of getting it. And I know I even heard from a lot of homies that live in California, like, it's very rare to find it in California. Even this day, it's kind of hard to find it. Yeah,
if you go into the ethnic stores, tend to have them. Like if you go into a store that might be primarily owned by a particular, that's just very particularly race centric. So I'm just, for example, we have a lot of Mexican stores out here. They're just called not carnicerias. That's just what they are. And it's all Mexican items and stuff imported from Mexico and stuff like that. They 9 times out of 10, you'll find some Faygo in their refrigerator. There's this one Asian store I used to go to. It was by one of my old jobs, and they had all these different stuff I never heard of. They had the Faygo in there too, and it's like, oh, okay, but you go to like your Smart and Finals or whatnot, or your mom and pop stores. Yeah, it was hard to find them. So it was always kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Oh yeah, like here you could get it at stores like that too. Like actually there was a Mexican bakery right next to my high school where they used to sell, and we used to get it there for like only $1.25.
Yeah, now they're
and then they would sell it at CD, and then they would sell it at CD stores, or some of the other places you could get it was like, and you can still get it, is like a lot of the hood party stores and stuff.
Where are you located, Don?
I am in Denver, Colorado.
Denver. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And they do sell it here. You just got to know where to look. Like most Dollar Trees now sell it, or if you go to any of your Dollar Trees now and you request it, they will order it for you specifically.
Interesting.
Like I've noticed a lot of businesses are doing that now, where if you request for them to sell something, they'll start selling it and order that stuff, specialty and stuff, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I've tried to order Faygo like on Amazon, and it's expensive as hell.
What you got to do is have a EIN number, which is easy to get if you don't have one already. It's just a tax ID number for your business. Once you have that, you can start getting wholesale items through that EIN number. So I looked into it. If you go to like Faygo distributors, create a business account with them, just give them that EIN number. You can get that. You can get it by like the case full.
All right, Shovel, if you're still watching, there you go, man. That's how you can do it.
But
I remember those days, especially like whenever an album would come out, that's what me and my friends would do. We'd go get our copy of the new album from a little record store, and they sold Faygo there. So then we'd each get ourselves a Faygo and stuff, and then we'd just go chill at the park and listen to the album, or to the house and have our own little album release listening parties and stuff.
Yeah, we used to. It was just so nice back in the day, especially when you had the physical stores to go into. And just people to talk to about the music, and just going and looking for your CD and hoping that it's in there when you're looking, and talking to the owner and going, hey, like, you guys should get this, and then them listening to you and getting it. Funny story, we had a store in Glendale called Music Exchange, Glendale, California. This was really early mid 90s, so RIP. But I was like one of the lone juggalos going in there asking them to get stuff from like Psychopathic side, and they were coming out with the Wraith at the time, and they had that big old Wraith stand up with Jay and Shaggy with the red and the blue paint.
Oh yeah.
And they had that as a promo item, and I'm like, hey guys, when you're done with it, can I have it? And they're like, well, you know how many people come in and asking for this thing? They're like, we'll let you know. And I was like, all right. And then finally the day come, they're like, hey, come get the stand-up. I was like, yes. So you just see me walking through the streets carrying this big old ICP stand-up to my house.
Oh yeah.
Bringing it up. This was like I said, back when Wraith came out, which I think was 2002, I'm thinking.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah. So Lord knows where it's at now, but that was a good memory.
Yeah, I always loved that era. That's like besides like, of course, the Malenko era, but my other favorite era of theirs is like the Wraith era, when they would change the color scheme for their makeup.
Oh yeah, I met them during the Wraith era in LA. So there was a signing. I forgot. I think it's like not the Coliseum, but there was like this auditorium, the LA Auditorium or something. There was a comic convention going on at the same time. So ICP and Shaggy and Isham and Zug Island were all going to be doing this little signing in this corner. So you just see this big line of juggalos, including me, just all painted up. We just had a party the night before, which I'll also tell you about. We were all lined up and buying all the merch from, remember Tom Dubb? Yeah, he was there, and some other people that were just buying the merch, and I remember you could get like a charm for like $30. I think you still could. I don't know, but my picture with them is somewhere. I know they were faded as hell. ICP was. Everybody there was. Somebody got sick. I think one of Zug Island got sick or something. Like,
oh yeah, and that's when Jay was smoking weed like heavy.
Oh yeah, remember? Yeah, definitely, and it's definitely noticeable, like on Wizard of the Hood, for sure.
Oh yeah, that's why some people say that's one of their favorite eras of ICP, when Jay could make his voice sound different when he was like smoking weed at the time.
Yeah, it was dope. So we did that signing, and then that same day we went to go watch this wrestling event. I don't know if you heard about the story of the wrestler, the Messiah.
That thing does sound familiar.
From XPW, he was caught with the wife of the owner of XPW, and then allegedly the owner had goons come over and cut his thumb off, and it was on America's Most Wanted. We went to the show where they filmed the America's Most Wanted episode out here. They were filming the footage because it was a benefit show for him to pay for his hospital bills and stuff like that. So that was later that day, coming back from the ICP signing. I just remember that it was a long weekend because, as I was mentioning, the night before that, Missy from Big Money Hustlers.
Yeah.
Bless her soul. I don't know. I think she might have passed. I don't know. But she was so cool with us. She lived in the area out here with her kids. So she would come and hang out with us. She'd have that pink hair and everything. And she actually, we had a party in her backyard once. Just a big old juggalo party, hanging out with her. And I remember one night some guy got out of control in her backyard, and she just grabbed him, like slammed him against the wall. And then we're like, dude, Missy from Big Money Hustlers just slammed you against the wall, bro. So he was all cool after that, but she was a sweetheart. She would drive me home a lot from shows and stuff, well, the parties and stuff like that. So, and again, so much went down during that old early family era. It's just hard to. It's kind of hard to think about how, if you haven't, especially if you lived through that, how you can. It's hard to put into words how, like, if you've lived through it and how to express how amazing that era was to someone that's sort of new to it. Because, like, I know a lot of us from like that era get called either like old or whatever, and I get it because I was that age before too, obviously. But I don't know, man. What do you think? Like, if you've gone through that era, it's sort of really hard to describe it to the younger generation, knowing like they're doing the Motel 8s. And we did the Vagabond Inn so you could do the Motel 8s. That was the big joke out here.
Yeah, I remember. And I laugh when people try to tell me, or when there are some people trying to say that like Ouija Mac and all of them are like for like the newer generation, and that all old school juggalos don't like them. Like, that's not true. I'm an old school juggalo and I love Ouija Mac.
Yeah, I like him. I've got his.
I was like, Ouija Mac is actually my age, so he grew up in the same era as us. So you and me and him could like share all those stories because he's our age. He grew up in the same era as us.
And
I'm not gonna lie, I thought Ouija Mac was younger. I thought he was in his 20s. And I'm like, oh, he's actually my age. Holy shit!
You know what it is? It's that goddamn vegan food.
Yeah,
makes you look 10 years younger.
Same with Darby. Darby told my story when I interviewed him about he remembers buying the Wraith the day it came out too, and he had to been like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah, I got the Wraith.
So a lot of people don't understand. Darby, Ouija, you, me, Strife, we've all grown up in the same era. We're not new to this juggalo shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just because we might be new to you guys, but we've been around.
Yeah, like we've been around, exactly. So that I think it's more so towards the fan. I think some of the newer fan base might not know. I guess that's how the better way to describe it. So
But I've even met like newer juggalos who do like to learn about the old days too. Because I always tell people you're never too old to learn something. I was like, we were all new to this at one point. We all didn't know anything right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I didn't know who these dudes were. I had to rely on my my older buddies to figure it out for me.
Hell yeah. And speaking about wrestling, since you said you used to wrestle, what year did you actually start wrestling, and how many years did you used to wrestle?
It was around 2009 when I sort of started. Well, I started training like when I was 18 with these luchador guys, but that lasted maybe a couple months because I had just turned 18. I couldn't really afford their training, so I put it off a few years, and I started training again back in like 2007, 2008. So I did some wrestling for a little indie promotion. It was called Battleground Pro Wrestling in Southern California, and a few of the other little local indie promotions. I trained with the Ballard brothers for a while. I had also trained under my trainer, Robert Tenorio, Foob Dog, rest in peace. He passed away on my birthday a few years ago. And we did a lot of our training through the Santino Brothers School and other places, anywhere we could set up a ring. It was one of those things where you're kind of given your dream. You're like, okay, this is everything you've wanted. This is everything you've been praying for as a kid. Here you go. What are you going to do with it? And not having sometimes the maturity to know, like, okay, I'm being given my dream. I need to take it seriously. So although I did matches and I had friends and I have some stuff on YouTube, of course, my YouTube channel is at Lyonz Den. I always felt I should have given myself more opportunity to reach the potential that was needed to really be better. Instead, I sort of just got distracted. Let's just say that. So I went through it. I went through it for a couple of years. The company I was wrestling for eventually went out of business. I had some family also get sick around the same time, and I thought, let me just take a break from it. And a break turned into a retirement, unfortunately, because when you get older, shit, you'll pull your hamstring just running to go get something you forgot in the store when you're checking out. You know what I mean? I've almost done it. So time is always gonna keep going no matter what. So I tried doing some commentary for a little bit, which I was okay at, but that company ended up not wanting commentators anymore, and I just kind of shifted my energy elsewhere. But it was a good run. I would say if anybody ever wants to get into pro wrestling, just research who is offering to teach it to you, see what they've done in the business, and make sure you go to the gym. That's one of the main things I just should have done more of. And you know, that was pretty much what my whole experience was. It was nice. It was good. But it could have been more if I really put more of myself into it. And I'm always down to hold myself accountable for that part of my life, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like when I did stuff for wrestling, I was the commentator and the cameraman, and then I was the senior official, but then they took the commentating away, and then I was the cameraman, and then they gave me the senior referee position. Like, a lot of people don't realize, even being a wrestler is hard, yes, but being a referee in the wrestling industry is an art in of itself. And I was able to do that tremendously good.
Oh, we all actually even all started off at some point as a referee for someone. And I remember my first time having to go 1, 2. I'm like, oh my God, that hurts so fucking much.
Oh yeah, you learn right away. Like everyone's like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, it does. Because
you have to slam it hard because it's a visual business. It's a business where you hear and see. It captures all the senses. So you don't have a fucking whistle to count a pinfall. You have to hit it as hard as you fucking can.
And I had to do that, and I would wear special gloves, like where you could still hear it, but I wore special gloves so I hurt myself, I would wear like fingerless gloves and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And also just making sure you, especially if you're a fan, keeping yourself engaged in the match, especially if you're not used to it, can be hard. So, for example, they could be doing some hold for hold, doing some spots. Then one backs the other one into the corner. And you could just still be standing there watching and forget, oh shit, I gotta break them up. Because you're so used to seeing other refs do it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm in this. I gotta do it.
Oh yeah, like, and you're afraid to, like, you're just like counting like from a distance, and you're like, oh, and the wrestlers tell you, no, get involved. And so you like they go, if you have to grab me, pull me out, and go, get off of him. They go, if you have to be a strict referee, do it.
Yeah, because it's also their job as wrestlers to sell the importance of the referee and to sell just like they sell the scariness of the Undertaker. You got to sell the authority of the referee. Like, I could break this fucking little dude into two pieces, but I don't want to get fined or fired, do I? I don't want to lose this match, so I have to control myself. You know, like, they have to also portray that so you get a sense of credibility.
Exactly, and that's why they only had me referee, because I knew how to do it better than anyone else.
Nice.
Now, I wouldn't take like sell moves if someone accidentally bumped into me. No, I didn't do that. I was just like your typical referee.
Gotcha.
But if I had to be a strict referee, I would.
Oh yeah, I loved being a fast count referee, and they'd be like, and it wouldn't be like legit, like on purpose fast. It would be like ECW ref fast, where it's just like 1, 2, and they go, God damn, Lyonz, relax. They put him into a hold, like, chill out, ref, give me a second.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had fun doing it. I did that like in my like early 20s, so that's why on my other streams that I've been doing, I've been showing like old footage of the wrestling company I used to work for. And it was fun, but then, you know, sometimes wrestling can't be fun because then, you know, everyone knows behind the scenes. Sometimes someone has a big ego and then they think they're better than everyone, and then it just stops being fun.
Oh, absolutely. If you're familiar with the wrestler Joey Ryan, I had a match with him that was videotaped, but unfortunately was lost forever because the footage was owned by the owner that tragically passed away of the company. But I had a match with Joey Ryan, and he had a manager, and at the time he had a very big ego. He was, if you were in his little circle of friends like Candice LeRae and the Young Bucks and all them, he didn't give a shit about you. So I had was one match with him because they all saw me as a rookie going against him, which I was. So that's how it was booked. And he was just very vague about what he wanted to do. But what happened at the end of it, I came up for a leg drop from the top rope, and I put my hand down too early and broke my wrist. And then I had to still get up, take his super kick, and you know, see the lights. But you can't see it, but I had like a bunch of pins put in it. They had to like push it back together. I was in the hospital for a few days, believe it or not. But he never checked on me. He didn't give a shit, you know. So it was just sort of one of those people that when that Me Too thing happened to him, I was just like, oh, you know, I guess karma comes back around.
Oh yeah, that's also one of my favorite like series to watch on TV is like the Dark Side of the Ring series.
Oh hell yeah, I love the Dark Side of the Ring.
Like I knew someone, they didn't know a thing about wrestling, but after they would watch like a lot of documentaries on wrestling, they gained a more respect for the wrestling industry, and they were like, damn, wrestlers go through so much more than anyone else. I'm like, yes, they do.
I was just telling one of my friends that I'm not a big sports guy. Football, baseball, basketball, it's just not my thing. I've developed that mindset of I'm not cheering for any millionaires playing sports. I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't serve me any purpose to cheer on anybody. I joke around and say I like the Detroit Lions because Detroit, ICP, and then Lions. My name's Lyonz, so I'll go, oh sure, you know, let's go Lions, right? But other than doing that, I'm not a big sports guy. But what I guess my whole point was I always kind of would rather develop my own shit and develop my own things than follow other people's trends and whatnot. If I lost my trail of thought, I'm sorry. I smoked a little bit before I came on here today.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, that's one thing I've always loved about like wrestling, and with the way wrestling's been going now, I love the way wrestling's going. It's starting to feel like the territory days, but you see wrestlers now going and working with other companies, and it's feeling like the territory days. And like, whoever thought you would hear of TNA and WWE actually collaborating? Never under Vince McMahon's watch. That's why I love what Triple H is doing. Triple H knows the business. He's a fan, and I love what WWE's been doing since Triple H took over. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, and I just remembered where I was going with my last train of thought was, I don't like sports like baseball, basketball, or anything, but I'll watch a 30 for 30. Mm-hmm. Right? I love watching the documentaries. I was just talking about that movie with Brad Pitt, Moneyball, and I was just like, I don't like baseball. I think baseball is boring as shit, but that's a good movie. And then when I look at the actual documentaries and stories on it, then I'm like, yeah. And same thing again with basketball. I think basketball is boring as shit, but sometimes you'll see it just like narrated with a story, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can dig this. That's probably why your friends were so they gained that new respect for wrestling, because they see the story that can go with it, right? But yeah, with WWE right now, I'm keeping a closer eye on it. I've been so wrapped up in making music and doing my own thing. I've sort of just, it's there. I'm keeping tabs on it. I know AEW, when that came out, it was a big thing too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, nobody would have even, forget them merging with TNA. Nobody even would think that, Vince McMahon would have ever stepped down.
Exactly. That's something we thought can you never be.
Can you just think about it? If he didn't have the scandals, he'd still be in power by now.
Exactly. And that's why when I tell people that documentary Netflix about him, it's a roll of emotions. You're like, okay, you respect him as a businessman with some of the stuff he's done for the business, but then you hear about other stuff he's done, and you're like, what the fuck? So it's like a roll of emotion.
And I see we have some people in chat asking.
Yeah, someone wants to know how you came up with your character, what your name Lyonz was based off of.
Oh, what's up, Ben? Yeah, so I'm born July 25th, making me a Leo. So
I'm a Leo too.
Of course we are. That's why we like being on camera. But I came up. My friend was just like, "Well, what if you were Christopher Leo or whatever?" I'm like, "Oh, what about Chris Lyonz?" Like, "Oh, that works." And I'm like, "What if I made the Y into a Z and made it a Y and a Z?" They're like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And then promos. We were doing promo class, and they were like, "Okay, you got to come up and do a promo. Like, you got to introduce yourself and come up here and talk." And the first thing I was just like, "So everyone wants to know about Chris Lyonz," and then just from there, it just sort of took off. So yeah, it's based on astrology.
Oh yeah. And someone in the chat wants to know if you like Minecraft.
I've never played Minecraft, so
neither have I.
I've watched a lot of people play it. I have friends that play it. I feel that it might be interesting, but I would play it. It's just, the problem with games, Don, as we get older, is now we have all the money to buy the games we want, just no time.
Exactly, and that's pretty much the only time I play video games now. Not like when I was younger, I would just put it on. Now I just play a video game when I'm absolutely bored and there's nothing to do.
Yeah, and again, on my Twitch channel, Lyonz Den Productions, I usually go live on evenings. I was streaming day after day, hours and hours and hours and hours. Now it's sort of scaled back ever since I started doing music. Like when I actually discovered music, I was in the midst of my streaming time, where that's all I was doing was just working and then streaming video games on Twitch. But I was starting to feel a little stagnant coming from that, and started getting into the music once I found music, once I found out people liked my shit for whatever fucking reason, and I started doing more of it, the gaming was less, the streaming was less, until maybe a year and a half later, when I've sort of had a fan base of sorts, not to sound cringe, but just there were people that knew me now that I could bring into the stream to hang out.
Yeah, and I never thought I would be doing this neither. Like, you can actually do a lot more on Twitch now than gaming. Like right now, we're here live on Twitch. There's a lot of people that even do podcasts on Twitch now.
Oh shit! Well, I got you on my YouTube. So shout out to the Twitch, the Twitch Don Chaos fan.
Oh yeah, and that's something I want to start doing on Twitch too. I want to game, but I want to do something different. I want to do like retro gaming, but where I'm like reviewing the video game as I'm playing it, or talk about fond memories of me playing that game or playing the game with my friend. That's what I want to add to gaming on Twitch, is do a lot of retro gaming.
Here we go, Don Chaos 303, right?
Yep, like I still have the same Nintendo 64 that I've had since I was a kid. I still have my original PlayStation games that I've had since I was a kid. I still have my Game Boy. I still have my PS2 that I've had since I was a kid.
I've got my my N64 in the closet, which glitches when it tries to turn on. I wasn't super fortunate to have all the fancy Nintendos and stuff just because of my upbringing. But we all know those old Tiger handheld games that you put two AA batteries in, and there you go, boy. You make the best of that motherfucker, you know, like, especially if that's all you had at the time. Hey, if grandma says it's a Game Boy, it's a Game Boy.
Right?
And so, you know, I got a bag full of those motherfuckers in my closet.
Oh yeah, well, we have another good question. What is your favorite era of wrestling, and also who's your favorite current wrestler at the moment?
Nice. Definitely my favorite era was the Attitude Era, so between the age of 97 to 2000, I would say, well, 96 to 2000. I'd say that was a good chunk. I remember where I was when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. I was in junior high, summer school, because it was Bash at the Beach. It was in the summer, so I was in summer school. It was lunchtime, and I could never afford the pay-per-views, so I'm walking through the lunch area, and one of my friends runs up to me. "Did you hear Hulk Hogan was the third man?" I'm like, "You're fucking lying to me." Like, it was no fucking way. I didn't believe him. Lo and behold, I go home, turn on Nitro. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's the darkest day in our sport." I'm like, holy shit, he did it. You know, it was fucking awesome. But so I would definitely say that era was definitely my favorite. Current favorite wrestler, like, current wrestling to me is very strange. Because it just hasn't been as believable as it used to be back in the day. It's become very acrobatic.
Yeah, it's becoming more like a sport, which it's fine with it being like that.
Well, it's not even really a sport. Like, let's put it this way, like, did you watch Pentagon on Raw?
I didn't, but I know who he is.
Yeah, so you watch his AEW matches where he's just flying around doing like 50 Canadian destroyers and having people kick out of them at 2. To the one on Raw where he's wrestling Chad Gable and he's selling his leg like his life fucking depended on it, right? And you go, that's the difference right now. Like, that believability is what gives sports, was what makes people think it's a sport versus athletic crazy moves. I know non-wrestling fans that used to like wrestling, or just people in general, they just go, they've never seen it, but they'll just look at it and go, what's this acrobatic shit? I thought we were watching wrestling. And they were 100% legit. They're like, this isn't wrestling. Like, it's just acrobatics and shit. It's just very strange. But back to the question at hand, favorite current wrestler right now? Fuck, it's a really good question, but I'd have to just still go with whoever's making the most money. So like, I like Roman Reigns. He kind of won me over eventually because of that. Brock Lesnar is also, I'd say Brock Lesnar is my favorite current wrestler.
Yeah, I've always thought Roman Reigns was a little, when he was in the Shield, he was cool. Then at first, but then when he started doing the whole bloodline thing, I thought that was awesome.
And they were stupid enough for so long to go, why are they booing him? Why are they booing him? They weren't booing him because he was bad. They were booing him because Ambrose went on to do a different gimmick. Rollins went on to do a different gimmick.
Yep.
But he was still just that plain old Shield dude. Just nobody gave a fuck. Like,
yep. And then he comes back and he does that whole bloodline thing, and it made him really good.
Like, I don't know why it took them so long to figure out. Like, that's why they don't like him, guys. Like, give him a new coat of paint. Throw him back out there. Have him beat some people. Give him a good story, and there you go.
And I love how some wrestlers aren't even like aging at all in the ring. Like how Chris Jericho is still able to do the things he does at his age. That's awesome.
He's doing it.
Like he's starting to slow down. You can see it.
Yeah. Like as they say, the mind is willing, but at some point the body is not.
But that's one thing I've always loved about Jericho is he can always revitalize and change up his image and gimmick a little bit much in wrestling.
I got a signed Jericho figure back here. I met him at a signing out here in California.
Yeah, like one of my favorite gimmicks that he did was the gimmick when he was all serious and wearing the suit and stuff when he came back to WWE. And he's like, and he'd be like, "Do you understand what I'm saying?"
And then he eventually got the list.
Yep. Like even his early career, like in the 90s, like when he was still known as Lionheart, Chris Jericho, it was dope.
Oh yeah, I remember those days too. Back with
his whole Y2J gimmick was amazing.
Yeah, I had that whole monologue memorized for a long time because I was hoping to do it in drama class, but I never got a chance to.
Hell yeah. And even like Rey Mysterio, he's starting to slow down, but some of the stuff he can still do is amazing. Or even Rob Van Dam. It's like, how the hell are you still doing that?
Yeah, they've been slowing down for a while. You can't blame them.
Oh, yeah. And one thing I love, especially about Rey Mysterio, is like no one liked his son, but the second his son turned heel, his son makes an amazing bad guy.
Oh yeah. Don't get it twisted. Like people love people that they can hate.
Exactly, and I tell people what makes a wrestler good is if you can like hate them so much, but you love them at the same time. Like in the Attitude Era, we hated Triple H so much, but he plays such a good bad guy.
Exactly. Like if we needed a bad guy to go against another bad guy, that would be our bad guy type.
And then Ric Flair, he's like this rich upper class dude. You can't stand him, but at the same time, you can't help but love him because it's Ric Flair.
Yeah, it took me a while to warm up to Ric Flair as a kid, just because I was just like, man, has this guy always been old? Like if you ever see his like rookie photos, it looks like one of those old Roman gladiator, the Roman wrestling type photos from like the 1800s. He looks that fucking old. He's like always been old. So that was my only thing. But he did come around. I did come around, obviously. The older I got, again realizing how hard that shit is. But yeah, shout out to Ric Flair.
Oh, we got another question. Where is it? It is. Hold on, let me pull it up. There it is. What is your favorite wrestler's like walkout opening song? Like who's like your favorite current like opening like entrance theme you think sounds perfect?
Current, I would definitely still say Roman Reigns.
Definitely.
I do like the new Rock one too, when it used to say the final boss behind him. That one was pretty dope. I liked Will Ospreay's for a while. AEW, that one was kind of catchy.
Yeah, I've always loved AJ Styles' TNA theme, but when he went to WWE, I loved his WWE thing. I always end up singing it. I'm like, they don't want none. They don't want none.
Yeah, that one was a good one. I like
of course, the Wyatt family, that was just straight classic.
I was one of those that wasn't too into the Wyatt family stuff. At least not the new one, but no, that old song was a slapper. I had a bunch of songs on a playlist for wrestling themes a little while ago. I would also say, yep, Ben's right. The glass breaking for Stone Cold, obviously that's all time best right there.
Right, or even like the Undertaker's theme.
Oh yeah, any of them.
And a lot of people didn't like Stone Cold's theme, like when it changed to the version when Disturbed did it, but I actually liked the Disturbed version too. I thought it sounded cool.
Yeah, I was you mess with a wrestler's theme song, that's sort of sacrilege. So they had to make sure they got that shit right. Luckily they did for that one and for DX at the time with the Run DMC version.
Oh yeah, and then when you did Undertaker, when you had changed his theme song to the funeral one to Keep Rolling by Limp Bizkit, it sounded dope.
Well, yeah, and like you see all these decades later, people are still going back, using clips of that WrestleMania 19 entrance that he was doing with it.
Yeah, and I like how even some of these wrestlers can make an old song sound good again. Like that song, Cult of Personality by In Living Color, is so popular now because of CM Punk.
Yeah, hate CM Punk, but the song is dope. They actually had In Living Color redo it so that they could get the rights to it again whenever it plays. Because
my friend is like that with CM Punk. He's like, I like him as a wrestler, but as a person, nah.
Yeah, a little too he's a little too preachy for me. Just mine. Let's just leave it at that.
Now, have you been watching like JCW? A lot of the stuff JCW's been doing is phenomenal. Like what Jay is doing, he is doing great.
I've been watching JCW. Been on occasion streaming some of the shows on my Twitch, just hanging out watching them with my chat. They're gonna come out. That's what
I've started doing. I've been like thinking of doing like watch parties of that and stuff.
Oh, it's great. And then they're going to be out here in Vegas in March. So I'm considering maybe rolling out to that because apparently there's going to be JCW, Violent J, and Ouija Mac doing sets. So
yeah, I'm probably going to go to the New Mexico one because Albuquerque's not too far off from Denver.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the tickets are like $25. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that.
Now someone wants to know, what are your thoughts on WWE being on Netflix? Me, I love that idea because now even though they're still claiming they're PG, when they're on Netflix, they can get away with a lot more stuff on Netflix now.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like the change. I like the new presentation. I do think it gives it a little bit more of that modern look. They're a majorly public traded company with TKO owning them. So I think they're treating that wrestling ring with the same real estate space as they are UFC Octagon. Yeah. Like the only thing they haven't fucking advertised on are the ropes. So I shouldn't give them ideas, should I? But no, point is, yeah, it's got a great new look. I like it. It is a little sad though, thinking. And a little, like, it makes you think about pro wrestling has been on regular television airwaves since the early 1900s, like since television was around. Yeah. And now the options for it on just regular television are slowly diminishing. It's just interesting now how much this digital age is changing how we view content like that.
And I like that but it also makes me feel old because when we were younger, there was still such thing as pay-per-view. Now with wrestling, you're not really seeing pay-per-view as much anymore. Now, if you want to watch a WWE like event like WrestleMania, you watch it for free on Peacock Live. Which I still think that's cool.
Here's the only thing that bothers me though. I grew up we grew up when the network came out, when Vince McMahon goes, "Welcome to the WWE network," and that whole thing was just like the biggest fucking load of jizz we've ever expelled from our fucking sacks when we were like, all this wrestling is here. Yes, you know.
And then before there was the WWE Network. Remember, there was that channel. It was called WWE 24/7.
Yeah, and even then, like if I didn't have cable, I couldn't watch it because I didn't have cable at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and when they came out with the network event officially, I was subscribed to that until it fucking closed. Like until they fucking sold to Peacock, I was subscribed to that shit. And like my problem right now is that they'll show the old shows on Peacock, like old WrestleManias. They'll put a commercial in the middle of the match where there wasn't one before, and it hurts my soul, dude.
Right, and I noticed like sometimes like when you're watching it on Peacock, they really don't show the promo leading up to the match. Like remember, you would get like a video promo like promoting the match. Like especially in those days, the promos is what set the tone for the match. Like remember the promo between Stone Cold and The Rock at WrestleMania 17, and then they chose like Limp Bizkit playing in the background for like the music telling the story.
Yeah, it's all gone now, and they also aren't putting up any of the old territory stuff or ECW stuff and WCW stuff. Like they're not really putting up as much as they had before in the vault. And apparently, they said that it wasn't being as watched as much, anyways, which I think is a shame.
Oh yeah, but the one thing I like about Peacock is you can like watch like they make playlists now where you could like watch a rivalry from beginning to end. You could like watch the whole Stone Cold Rock rivalry with everything that involved them, and you can like watch it all like in a playlist now, and it will play the next segment involving them or a match that involved them. Then you can watch all that in a playlist now, which is cool.
Hell yeah.
Or you could watch like the Attitude Era playlist, or they have one called the Monday Night Wars. They'll play like the Monday Night Raw, and then they'll play the Monday Nitro, and then they'll like play the pay-per-views that happened all between those years.
Yeah, they did add some cool stuff.
Oh yeah. Let's see, what other questions do we have? One of the questions we usually ask our guests is like, what are like your personal, like if you had to pick top 5 of like your favorite albums of all time that had like a big impact on your life, what would they be?
Well, first one would probably be Jekyll Brothers, obviously. Bone Thugs and Harmony's East 1999, which I always thought was just a masterpiece of a rap album. I would also even go into saying the Wraith was very important to me, the Shangri-La Wraith. I'll put in both Wraiths for that one, Hell's Pit and the regular Wraith. After that, believe it or not, Twisted's Green Book. I listened to that till the fucking wheels came off, and the last one escapes me, but I would even maybe venture to say, I'd even say the Mirror from Twisted also. No, the first Dark Lotus. Oh yeah,
that's when every time people ask me what's probably my favorite Psychopathic Records album of all time, it is that original Dark Lotus, the Red Cross one, and they still had Mars on it.
Yeah, ABK did his best, but it's just, once the ears are trained to hear something, it's very hard to untrain the ear.
Right, I was like, yes, that Mars version is good, but then later on the line when they had ABK on the Black Rain album, he actually fitted better on there.
Yeah, Black Rain, Black Rain was such a good it's just an album that just hasn't been spoken about enough. That shit was
everyone likes Ridas, and then everyone would always ask me, do you prefer Ridas and Lotus? I'm like, I like both, but on a personal level, Lotus speaks to me more because of the stuff that they talk about.
Yeah, because eventually Ridas became, I love Ridas too. I still love Ridas too, but I think some of that was recorded during like maybe when they weren't getting along too well near the end, and you can kind of tell with some of the songs. But again, you'd have to have been around for a while, but to hear the differences. But no, yeah, Black Rain. I believe that's the tour I went to. They did a out here in Hollywood, House of Blues, which is no longer there on Sunset when it was there. Dark Lotus was there with Mad Child. And some of 3-6 Mafia was there too. They came out and did some of that Killjoy Club. But I did catch a Dark Lotus. I think it's the same show, but I did catch Dark Lotus there. They were wearing the mat. They were all dressed like surgeons. That I remember.
Oh yeah. And I always loved Dark Lotus live. Like I've loved a lot of artists I've seen live, but there's something when you see Dark Lotus live, it's like another feeling, like in a good way. Like it's hard to describe it.
It was great because it's like just like we talk about that family era, quote unquote, and it's people think it sounds cliche, but no, dude. Like I still remember going to that show and you saw every walk of life there. Like you saw the punk rockers with the mohawks up there getting into it, you know, just smiling, having a good time, no hate. You had like, you know, you have the Asian juggalos, black juggalos. It doesn't matter.
You had the alternative kid. Then you had the alternative kids.
You had the cholo juggalos. You had the emo juggalos. You had
skaters.
Yeah, like you had everybody had their own version. They were all in there. We used to actually hang out with Willie Mack. I believe he's the current JCW champion.
Yeah, and I'm glad like JCW's been pushing him a lot because he is a very underrated talent.
Funny story. We used to hang out with him back in Universal Studios. We do these mini gatherings before the internet. You might have been familiar with phone chat lines.
I do remember those.
Party lines as they're called. And
yep, I do remember.
There was a Juggalo party. There was a party line that had the Juggalo room because that's where all the local Juggalos would go and talk and hang out. And we would all plan meetups. So we would get on buses. We'd go down to Universal Studios, Hollywood, City Walk, painted up, wearing our gear, drinking Faygo, just having a good time in a group. Willie Mack used to hang out with us all the time. Great dude. He was so cool. When I got into wrestling, he was also into wrestling at that time. We eventually had a match. It was an eight man tag. It's on YouTube actually. If you ever find it, he comes off the fucking top rope with a corkscrew splash and damn near fucking broke my pelvis. That motherfucker is heavy. I did everything I could to protect myself too, but you can just, if I didn't tuck in, it definitely would have broken something, man. But yeah, Willie Mack, he was a cool guy.
Yeah, I remember even the AOL days. Like there was the Juggalo chat room for AOL, and you used to talk. That's how we used to talk to a lot of Juggalos back in the day.
Yeah, or even Yahoo Messenger.
And it's funny, I still use Yahoo even to this day, and people are like, "Has that always been your email?" I'm like, "Yep, that's the same account I've had since I was about 15 or 16, and I still use it to this day."
Damn, you're a legend.
Yeah. And a question I have for you, like flash forward back to when you were wrestling at the time, like who around that time would you have like loved to work with back then?
You know, back then, I really just wanted at least one time to just job out on TV. That was sort of everybody's goal. Like local guys were one thing, like Jesus Rodriguez, the manager that was with Alberto Del Rio. I don't know if you remember him.
I do. That guy was very talented. I just recently watched a podcast where he did an interview on it. It was cool.
He was one of my best friends. I'm talking like he was wrestling out here under the name Chimera. He was a fantastic fucking lucha wrestler, just a fantastic worker, one of the funniest motherfuckers I had ever been around. Me and him went through a lot together, just saying, like good, bad, just really good friends. He was in the right place at the right time. When WWE was out here, they needed someone that spoke Spanish apparently, and he was light skinned, he spoke Spanish, and brought his tuxedo, and there you go, So I was just like, I like that, and he ended up making a couple years out of it, believe it or not. And,
yeah, and I bet that would have made you like really proud to go, that's my best friend right there on TV.
It was crazy. There was this one match, he took this really nasty bump off of a ladder in the ring to a table to the outside, and I still had his phone number. I texted him like, dude, are you okay? And he just messages me back. He goes, yeah, and the show's still going on. And I was like, all right, that's cool. We lost touch recently, but I have fond memories of working shows with him. And we did a show in a backyard for a birthday.
Oh yeah, me and my friends used to do that too. We used to we had a ring, but we would throw them in the backyard in the ring, and we would have like barbecues and parties while we were putting on these wrestling shows. It was cool.
Well, it was actually a special needs kid that happened to like wrestling, and he was local to the area, and they had this big, huge party put together. And they're like, hey, I was already trained at the time, and it just they hired some dudes I knew that had a ring, and they're like, hey, Lyonz, you want to come do this birthday show, for this kid? And I go, yeah, of course. I have nothing to do, and we went out there, and again, special needs kid. They had the ring, they had the big old entrance thing for him. It was so nice, and they had the tacos and shit going in the bounce house. So we go in. The first match was Chewy, Chimera. We used to call him Chewy, versus a guy out here named Hector, and they were going back and forth. What was funny is he would say he came up to me because he was trying to veteran me and go, okay, Lyonz. No psychology, just do flippy moves and make them happy. I'm like, okay. But as he was doing that, you hear somebody in the crowd, I think one of the older ladies, going, who's the bad guy? And everyone starts going, who's the bad guy? And everyone just starts going, we don't know who's the good guy. And then he didn't know what to do, so he tries to do these to the back, try to heal it up a little bit. But he's just ingrained to do flippy moves,
Yeah.
And then I went out there. Obviously, I'm like, okay, I know my job. So my gimmick at the time was Criminal Chris Lyonz, and I had this like cool little criminal gear made. And I walk out. First thing I went is like, whose birthday is it? And they could automatically tell, all right, we got somebody we can boo now. And he goes, it's mine. I'm like, no, it's my birthday. All these presents are mine. If I win, all these presents are mine, right? So I make this big, huge thing, right? So we had to do 3 matches because it wasn't a whole lot of us there. And then I ended up winning the second one, and I was just like, and then he was all upset, and I had to pretend like, all right, I'll give it one more chance. If I win this next match with all of us, I'm keeping them. And then we had this big crazy match. We went down the bounce house and everything, and I lost, and everybody went home happy, and I made $20 and some tacos. So it was a really cool show.
Hell yeah. Now, like, who was wrestling like in the industry at that time? Like, if there's anyone around that time, like anyone in any wrestling company at that time, who would you have wanted to work with? Like, would have loved to do like an
Well, I was mostly also in like a tag team with another guy. We were known as the Fugitives. So a lot of my matches in BPW were tag team matches. The Young Bucks were super, super hot. Like, they were out here known as SoCal royalty. They could do no wrong. Like, they can work anywhere and do anything they wanted. I probably would have been cool to at least work with them at least once. If I were to pick anybody, it would probably have been the Bucks, because they can make anybody look good. I did wrestle the Cutler brothers, if you're familiar with Brandon Cutler from AEW. Him and his brother were the Cutler brothers, and we wrestled them in like our second match ever. So I was super nervous because they were all established and they were friends of the Bucks, and we would see them all the time in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out here in LA when I was like a teenager. So yeah, I would probably say the Bucks for sure.
Hell yeah. Now, just to let out your inner wrestling fan, what would be like your ultimate like dream match? Like 2 wrestlers you would love to see versus each other. Like, say it's someone who's no longer wrestling, but you take them back in time to when they were in their prime and you would put them against someone else. What would be your dream match?
No doubt about it. Prime Hollywood Hogan versus Prime Stone Cold.
Oh yeah.
You just because it never happened. And even though I could also say like RVD versus Shawn Michaels, that did happen. You know, even though it might not have been in the prime, but if we're talking prime, Hogan and Stone Cold all fucking day.
Right. One of mine that I know almost would have happened, and that would have been amazing, is when they were going to try to put Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels. Could you imagine how dope that would have been?
Oh, that would have been magical, man.
Hell, I would even go as far as to say Owen Hart versus Eddie Guerrero would have probably been phenomenal.
Oh, Owen Hart versus anybody definitely would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, like Owen Hart, like I'm glad he gets a lot more credit because he was a really good wrestler. And there's this channel I watch, they do like wrestling lists, and they go top wrestlers who were really big but never won a world title, and he was like one of those.
Do you watch the Wrestling Bios show with Reliving the War?
I do.
Of course you do, because you're a man of good taste.
I also like watching Wrestling with A&E, which is a good one.
Yeah, those are good.
There's one I call it called Wet Wrestleaholics or something, or Cultaholic Wrestling.
Cultaholic, yeah.
Yeah. But then they try to make it all funny sometimes when they're doing some of their videos, which I'm fine. But I'm like, okay, make it serious now. Come on.
Yeah.
And then someone wants to know, you probably answered that earlier, but what was the worst injury you sustained while you were wrestling?
Oh, yeah. So I was wrestling a wrestler by the name of Joey Ryan. And the go-home spot, I was supposed to do a diving leg drop off the top rope and miss. And I was supposed to feed in for a super kick and then lose. But I brought my hand down, so if these are my little legs, right? I jump off and my hand came down like this. So my wrist went like that. I got up doing this. I still had the feet around, and I took the super kick. And then, they were looking at it like, oh, maybe it's just dislocated. And they're like, nah, that shit's broken, homie. So I had to go to the hospital for it. They set it back into place. I was still training, even with one hand.
Oh, God.
I was still, for the rolls, I was just tucking this in, doing my rolls. And I ended up doing I didn't even miss a show. I ended up doing a show the next month for them. But I still had the cast. And we worked it into an angle. The match is on YouTube also, where they start, because everyone knew this was great about it, because everyone knew the break was legitimate. Like everyone in the area knew Lyonz broke his wrist, and that shit was real. So luckily it was set enough to where they could work it, you know. So like they would do like the slam it on the canvas or the stomp on it. I just do the overselling, where you're just not, the crowd's like, hey, I'm not sure if he's fucking serious or not, where I go start pleading to the ref, pointing at it, and then they pull me from the ref and start working on it. That type of selling, you know, where they're like, yo, is he really hurt? You know, like, what the fuck's going on? It's not your normal shit. So yeah, it was definitely the risk, but I was able to make it work.
Hell yeah. And when it involves music, what is like your creative writing process? Like everyone has their own creative writing process. Like what do you do?
I like to listen to beats. I like to go on BeatStars or YouTube, or even Instagram. I'll just find beats, and I just like to go in my backyard, blaze, walk back and forth for a couple hours, just listening to beats, seeing, okay, can I do something with this? Normally I'll listen to a beat, I'll start going, like, I'll get the cadence down first. No words, just cadence. So I'll go, yo, then I'm gonna I can put the and you just go, okay, I can work with this sort of flow, listen to the beat, and then go, what words can I now put in there? What story can I now put together in my head? And I'll usually start it with the hook. So I'll go like in the middle of the night. Okay, and then I'll just start working backwards. What can be done in the middle of the night? It's dark, it's this, it's that, and just start working backwards. And then eventually it'll build into a full, like usually 16 bars and 2 hooks, and I just I fucking slap it on BandLab and I get to work.
Oh yeah, and tell us a little bit about this new album because you're coming on here to promote it. So tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. So yes, the album is called Burning Bridges. My style of music is really controversial. I'm not saying it to be gimmicky. I'm just saying it because if you've heard any of it, imagine that stuff you're hearing sang in front of the normies at a bar in the middle of nowhere. That's me. I'm not doing this in front of juggalos except for when I did Juggalo Night. That was my first time really catering to that juggalo crowd that I've always wanted to. But my music is very, very fucking straightforward. You know exactly what the fuck I'm saying. There's no hiding it, right? So if I'm saying my cock is deep down in your fucking throat, you're going to hear me say it and people are going to look up like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? And a lot of it has, unfortunately and fortunately, kept me from doing as many shows as I wanted to. Now, God bless Mike Storm, everyone out here in the local area of Apple Valley, California, that's given me a chance, in that I've said, you know what, we don't care how wild this motherfucker is from the norm. We're going to put him up here. We're going to let him shine and do his thing, right? But then there's also those times where, look, just like ICP, right? You can't, they don't fit every single show. They don't fit every single, like, you can't necessarily throw me on an acoustic show or your R&B local show. So back to the album, Burning Bridges means there have been a lot of folks in my world that have either pretended to be friends. I'm sure maybe you've experienced people betraying you, just switching shit up on you. But a lot of folks are afraid to fucking stand up for themselves. A lot of people want to play both sides of the political game in this music industry and just life in general. One of the things I've always fucking hated, and I'm getting into it now, is when you say something negative about somebody, when you go, I do not fuck with this person because of X, Y, and Z, but then you go to somewhere at a show or you see them in a Twitch chat or whatever, and they're all buddy with each other. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, you're a legend. I love you. It's such bullshit. I'm the type that even if people don't like it, if I get in trouble for it, which I have, Don, I've been banned and I've lost friends because of this album. I've said shit in this album that has pissed off people to a point where they go, I cannot be your fucking friend anymore. And that's what Burning Bridges is about. It's about saying, you know what? If they're going to leave your life, they weren't meant to fucking be in it in the first fucking place.
Exactly.
I have people that I disagree with, whether it be morally, politically, religiously, but I could still love them and they still love me because I'm a friend of theirs. And that's what true friendship is. They go, I don't give a fuck what this guy thinks. He's there for me when I need him. Like IRL. But then you got these other people that will butter you up, gas you up, tell you how great your shit is. But then the minute you might say something that you genuinely believe doesn't hurt anybody, they try to either cancel you for it, make you seem like a bad person, or try to use that moral high ground they feel that they have and make you feel like shit. It's time you say, hey, yo, go fuck yourself.
That or you find some bit of success, and instead of them patting you on the shoulder, telling you good job, they're like, no, fuck you. And that's exactly what it's about. It's about those people that once we thought were so special to us in our lives that we turned out were just nothing but snakes or nothing but betrayal. And instead of sitting around stewing about it, burn that bridge, fucking move forward, and genuinely, just don't give a fuck about other people's needing the approval of other people. Look, if someone don't like you, you do not have to pretend to like them. Exactly. You know, it's not, you do. People that like people that they openly talk shit about just for simply being able to do their shows or get put on, thank you, Vertigo, whoop whoop,
get put on shows, to get, you know, all these favors from people. It's like, I would rather not do a whole show all the goddamn year than be booked on one by somebody that I've openly had an issue with, because I don't want to be known as a hypocrite, and no one likes a hypocrite.
Exactly.
So
that's what's happened to me in the past. Like when my show won an award, like instead of like congratulating me, the same people who I thought that were down for me saying congratulations, maybe I'll win next time, they were like, no, fuck you, you didn't deserve that award. And they just switched like no other. I was like, all this over an award? Gosh, if one of my friends won, I would tell him good job.
And you know what? I saw a video that said successful people have learned how to separate emotion from their business.
Exactly.
Like nothing can be truer. Like a you know, I don't want to get political, but a certain president got shot in the ear, right? Went through all this bullshit, took power. He, you know, sits next to a former president that probably was the one trying to set him up to get killed. It's just, I don't know. I'll just say allegedly. If I disappear, I'm not suicidal. And they're laughing together, right? And they were like, why do you think that is? Because do you see billionaires hating on other billionaires? Do you see two rich people in a room, they automatically hate each other? Like, no, like they will separate emotion from business to become successful. And I think a lot of the people in your scene and in music also, like, and I'm guilty of it too, right? I'm guilty of letting my emotions take over what could have been a few extra Twitch subs or a few other shirts I could have sold to somebody, you know, but instead letting my emotions get the better of things and cutting off them because of personal reasons when it actually probably cut into my business. So when we're able to separate that from ourselves, I personally don't like to do one-on-one beefs with other rappers. Not that I can't hold myself, but I'm more about when you do that, you're narrowing down the audience. Because what if you're talking shit about somebody nobody gives a fuck about except you? So instead of that, rap about the situation. Keep it vague so everybody can sort of relate to it versus talking shit about a certain person, using your energy on a certain person. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but you know, you got me on one there.
Well, I know what you mean, because that's how I felt. And that's how I felt. I was like, oh, if those people now all of a sudden want to turn on you just for no reason, then they weren't your friend to begin with.
Yeah. And it's okay to move on.
And that's one thing I definitely learned. Like that year, I learned who my true friends were. And then even last year, when I was going through some stuff, I learned who my true friends were and stuff. Like Strife was one of those people. Like he always hits me up. Like whenever me and him are having stuff going on, we both legit hit each other up and we go, bro, are you all right? Like Strife is legit my bro. That is like one of my best friends out there.
And I'll tell you a story about Mr. Strife and I, because when I first started making music, one of my first guys I did a song with was Will Gates. And we did a song called Billy the Blicky, which if you could find it, it's somewhere, but it's about a gun that comes to life. Like I'm buying a gun from somebody, and then the Blicky is now talking to me and telling me we're gonna go kill these people. And Will Gates rapped as if he was the gun, and me and him were talking back and forth, right? And it became one of the songs that kind of put me into the spotlight just a little bit. Strife hit me up and was like, "Hey man, I really fuck with that song. You know, and I understand what you're trying to do." Like, he didn't have to say anywhere, just says, "I know what you're trying to do. Like, I see your vision, you know, and like, I want to fuck with you. I want to do something with you." And we ended up doing a song on my album, The Heat, called No Jobbin', where the whole song is me and him as wrestlers, because we both were pro wrestlers in our past. And we're both arguing over who's going to win a wrestling match.
And I love that song. That's actually one of the that's actually one of the songs I want to show people tonight too.
So yeah, Strife, and then he went silent for a little while, and I remember I hit him up and just go, hey man, like, I hope you're good and everything. And actually he was lagging it on getting me his stems for the song, and I remember telling, he thought I was really angry at him or whatever. I might have been a little bit mean in my message, and for that I was just under a lot of pressure, and I apologize. But I had said something to him about this, how cool he was as a person, and I was like, man, like, no problem, I'll be there for you. And he hit me up later on, like after he kind of went on this hiatus, and just told me how much that meant to him, So since then, me and him always been close. And if you're in the Albuquerque area, he puts on Juggalo Nights a lot, so make sure you hit him up and check him out at Juggalo Night on Instagram.
And that's one thing a lot of people will like try to tell me, and I don't see it that way. Like, people would be like, oh, Don, so and so, that's so cool. I'm like, but these people are legit my homies, like the dudes at Mattapelli Music. Yes, I'm a fan of their music, but those are legit my bros.
Shout out Mattapelli Music too.
Those dudes are talented as hell.
And I had just did a show with them in December. They were doing a toy drive out here in Mojave. So me and my buddy JB, we went out there and did some music with them, along with First Degree. I don't know if you're familiar with First Degree.
I have.
He's a really good guy. We all went in there, rocked it with him with Freak Show, who's also going to be on the Hours of Chaos. Shout out Freak Show. He's the homie.
Oh yeah, that dude can play mad guitar, and also chuckles. And that's one thing I've noticed too. There's a lot of talented artists in this scene, and that's why I like to bring the talented people on this show, because a lot of the talented people get overlooked, and especially Southern California, there's like a lot of strong underground presence in the Southern underground scene, and there's a lot of talented people.
Yeah, and the thing with Mattapelli is, when I first started doing music, I tried reaching out to them, and everyone, when they're starting out, especially out here, if you're local or even just know of LSP, you're there. It's in my eyes, it goes, it's Psychopathic, Chapter 17, and Lyrical Snuff. They're pretty much like in that sort of vicinity as far as like underground labels go.
Oh yeah, and especially Lyrical Snuff. Like, this year alone, they're celebrating being 25 years in the industry. That's a long time.
Yeah, they've been around, and so when you're breaking in this particular genre, they are the ones you sort of want to get attention from. They're the ones that you want to get some sort of feedback from, or just have their eyes on you. And I remember when I first started, man, I was trying. I was trying, and it wasn't working, and I was like, why aren't they paying attention? I talked to my homie SoCal, and he goes, man, just in this scene, a lot of people, they'll start and fall off. They'll do something great, and then you just won't see them anymore. And I think guys that are so established, like Mattapelli and all them, they want to make sure that you're here to stay. You're down to last. Like, you're not just some one and done that's gonna go back to his fucking job at the liquor store somewhere. No, nothing wrong with working at the liquor store. I'm just saying though, like, someone's just gonna go like, drop a cool little album and go, okay, bye, or a cool little song. They want to make sure, like, okay, is he about his shit? Is he doing shows? But most importantly, are other people fucking with him? And I did their show. They were really cool. They are actually going to be performing at my show for free next Saturday out here in Apple Valley, California at 18 Taps Tavern for my Burning Bridges album release party. So that's going to be a slapper of a fucking show. I'm really out here being known as the guy trying to bring that juggalo style, that horrorcore style, to an area that's more that standard hip-hop style. They think we kind of have that same rotation of people in the area, and I've been trying to just bring in that new flavor. So I'm really excited that I'm going to get them on here, and they finally follow me back on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I love those guys are really talented. I like because they can do some straight hip hop, they can do some straight singing on their music, and then they can do some straight rock type shit.
Oh yeah, those guys are versatile as fuck, boy.
And that's one thing I love about a lot of the artists that I enjoy listening to. I love diversity with the artists I love. Like I like to see an artist do one style, but if they can branch out and try to do other stuff, I'm not going to hate them for that. Like Darby always tells us he hates his singing voice, but we all know Darby has a phenomenal singing voice.
Oh yeah. And that would be one of maybe my main criticisms, I would say, from the last maybe decade of the horrorcore scene is
and I've always told people branch out, basically.
This might get me canceled for saying this. I might cause a little bit of heat, but some of the horrorcore shit I've been hearing like leading up to a while, it hasn't been that good. Just my personal opinion, and here's why. I don't know how many fucking times I'd go to listen to an album, and the first song is dope, you know, like stab, 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 cut their guts out, and do this, do that. Okay, cool. Next song. So I went up, and my blade went, and I got this red liquid. I'm like, okay, next song. So I went and killed a bitch. I'm like, why is everything like? Why can't we just like, please, a little bit of variety in the story?
Right, and it's like the people that do that forgot what the originality of the genre of horrorcore is. Like horrorcore was, yes, you can make stuff horror, but it's also showing society in the form of a horror movie, like talking about conspiracy theories, stuff that the church is doing, maybe stuff that the government might be doing. That was the originalities of what horrorcore was supposed to be based out of. It was like gangster rap, but it was taken to a whole level, like really dark.
Or in my case, a song about your cock breaking off and trying to run around and kill you, i.e. Revenge of the Cock. I don't know if you heard that one.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people it's supposed to be, yes, it's supposed to be horror, but it's supposed to be showing like society in the form of a horror movie as well. Like some of it, not all of it.
Yeah, like I was just talking about my song Revenge of the Cock. I had a song, well, an EP literally called Revenge of the Cock, but it's about your cock breaking off and trying to kill you. But the cartoon is a big old rooster, an axe. You know, you probably saw it. At my shows, I end with that song. I go, "Oh, it's great to see you, everybody," and then you hear the voice, "What about me, motherfucker?" And then my buddy JB has this mask that I got, a rooster mask, comes on stage, and then we just start rocking the song, and it's just me literally like rapping to my cock, and then he'll grab the mic and he'll do the voiceover verse, you know, he'll pantomime to the song.
See, that's what I love is theatrics, that people are bringing back theatrics more to their shows.
We have to, because, you know, we're in that TikTok era. Violent J said it best. Nobody wants to spend their hard-earned money watching some fucking Joe Schmo sit on a stool with a flannel around his waist strumming a guitar for 45 minutes. You know, exactly. we want to see some shit. And my whole presentation has always been about, whether it's my words, whether it's literally me saying wild shit like, you know, shit on your head like Vince McMahon or something like that, like, or me saying my cock is on stage here at Froggy's and you got my buddy with the mask on going like this and shit. You have to get people to not look at their phones nowadays. Exactly. You have to get people to look up at you, not just listen to the music and just do their own thing. You want to go like, what? You need that attention, and you need their energy. So, exactly. Yeah, that's always been sort of my calling card, is trying to bring as many theatrics to it as I can.
Exactly, I agree. No one wants to see a show where someone's just gonna stand there the whole time. I was like, no, people want to see like energy, and that's one of the reasons why I love Scum so much. Like one of my friends, they've heard of Scum, but once they saw Scum live and they saw the energy he brings when he performs, and they're like, damn, that's entertaining. I would
even venture to say listening to him live is a little bit better than listening to him just recorded.
Yeah, like to know that he's still at what he does, like to watch him still jump off stage and mosh pit in the crowd, it's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, I think he should put out a live album.
Well, that's what I think everyone's been telling that, or everyone's been telling him more. He needs to have like a live band with him. Like right now, he has a live drummer with him, which sounds really dope.
Yeah, I'm talking about like you do that and just put out a live album with his songs and his set. I think it would do really well. Like just like how Baby Metal to me sounds better live, you know, than recorded sometimes. He's the same way, because also like you hear that voice live, you see him jumping around live. My favorite thing to do when I watch these shows is you watch the security guards in the front. You watch to see if your security guards are bobbing their heads to it.
And I've been to shows like that too. I do pay attention to the securities. Well, like I've been to a few clown shows and even Ouija shows where the security guards were just jamming out and getting live with all of us, and that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
But I even think ICP should drop a live album. That's one thing I love about the Hatchet Man project. We're finally getting an actual decent ICP cover band, but it's not just any ICP cover band. It's an all metal ICP cover band, and they're amazing.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna listen to more of them.
Yeah, like their covers are amazing. I was like, yes. I was like, for many years we've said, oh, there needs to be an ICP cover band. Well, here you go. But it's an all metal ICP cover band, and they sound dope.
Yeah, man, I gotta listen to more of them.
Yeah, their live performance is really amazing too. And we're actually going to play some of your music tonight.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it.
And this song I've been playing that you were talking about, No Job and featuring Strife. I love this song.
Hell yeah. Let's run it. I'm going to go grab a bottle of water real quick.
All right. We'll see you when you get back.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right.
Okay, kid, here's the plan. Cut a promo on the stand. Once the bell rings, we lock up, do a hip toss. Couple of clotheslines cut me off. Get your heat on me, then I come back around. Hurricane you to the ground. Grab you by the legs and turn you around. Put you in a Boston crab. Too far from the ropes to grab. That's when you tap and the ref raises my hand. What do you think?
First of all, my G, Hurricane these nuts. I've had it with all of these local vets and all of you schmucks. Don't you ever call me kid unless you wanna get slumped. I'm not 50-mile radius famous like all of you fucks. And while we're on the fucking subject, where's your cranium at? Talking all this heat shit, but I'm the babe in this match. I'm here to get my shine in. You're just here to get a job, and it looks like we're gonna have a problem.
Cause I don't like the fact that you make me look whack, bro. I don't know. That don't work for me, brother. Got a family here. Losing to you would be weird. I don't know.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother. That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother. Okay, how about this? You throw a clothesline miss. I can go under, flip you off, kick you in the ball, stone cold stunner. Go for the cover, 1, 2, 3. Better than that shit you tried to sell to me. No way in hell I'm doing the J.O.B. to a no one like you. Any idea who I am, where the fuck I've been, and who the fuck I be?
I try to tell you for the hook, but you're not taking a hint. You still don't seem to get it, homie. I'm not missing on shit. There's no sun or no shine, no shine or heat. We don't split. I'm here on tour from out of state, and you're just taking a hit. I don't give a flying fuck. You were an extra on Raw. You jobbed out for like 2 minutes, and now you think you're the bomb. Bitched out on national TV, now you think that you flare.
Fuck it, call it in the ring. See you out there. How about a super kick to the chin for the win?
Yeah, that don't work for me, brother.
How about I get my crew to jump you for a DQ?
Yeah, that don't work for me, brother. That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother.
That that work for me, brother.
Hey, bro, this promoter wants to pay us in hot dogs and fucking handshakes.
True story.
And wants us to blade and bleed all over the place.
God damn, all these motherfuckers are the same.
I know.
I'm over this.
Tell you what, this cocksucker wants hardcore. Let's fucking give it to him.
I don't know about your language, but I like the way you're going with this.
Well, it's a sold-out arena here where we see Lyonz versus Dog Strife. And, wait, buddy, Lyonz and Strife, they both got folding chairs, and they are now attacking the spectators. This is not part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Run for your lives. They're attacking innocent bystanders with these folding chairs. And, oh my goodness, they got the promoter, and they got him by the tie, and they're starting to stab him. Someone call 911.
I'm gonna let you guess who, which commentator I was trying to be for that.
Were you trying to be?
By God,
JR.
By God.
I was either gonna say it's either JR or Jim Cornette.
Oh no, we were stabbing Jim Cornette. No.
Hell yeah. That song was very visual too. Like when I was listening to that, I'm like, okay, I could just picture this song being a music video.
Yeah. That was actually done about 2 years ago, roughly, when I was kind of just starting to cut my teeth with mixing and mastering. I almost want to do a remastered version of it just because I've learned so much about mastering music since then. But yeah, Strife was totally cool. He loved it, and hopefully I could do more with him too.
Oh yeah, and I loved the beginning part, especially the song. It had I loved hearing like the drums and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I've been saying that a lot of rap music needs to bring back is those drums and stuff that you would hear. Yeah,
and that's sort of something with my music too. Is I like to let the beat breathe a little bit. So like there's a lot of these rappers will just hype up the intro a little too much, like like 3 6 Mafia style, but like not as good. Mm-hmm. And you sort of like drown out the beat. I love seeing people listening to the song just anticipating the voice, like anticipating my voice, just listening to the beat, waiting to go, okay, all right, it's gonna drop. Like this beat's cool. What the fuck's he gonna say? Well, and then next thing you know, like on the song No Doubt from my upcoming album, Burning Bridges, available February 1st, streaming everywhere. My first line in the fucking song is, "Let me talk to you, your girl giving me hot tour."
I love it.
Just the first thing you fucking hear. And I had this one streamer listening to it, and you could tell she's not used to my style. She's more into like that like Drake hip hop style, and I just hit her with it.
That's funny.
She was like, "What the fuck? I was not ready for that." Then she played it back, and she ended up liking the song too because it was just different. It wasn't your normal like no jumper type shit.
And I love that, and I love music like that where you're just listening to the beat and you're waiting. You're like, "Oh, what are they gonna say?" It feels like that anticipation when you hear the song straight out of Compton. You're hearing the beat, and then you just hear Ice Cube going straight out of Compton. You're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. You gotta let it breathe, and you gotta, just hit the enunciation and
build the anticipation, as the term goes too.
Yeah, which is actually how I market a lot of my music and a lot of my live shows is building anticipation. A marketing ploy I learned from ICP. Right? Like, what did they do whenever a new Joker card was coming out? Like, it's coming, or like there's a silhouette that they'd show, or it just draw it out into this big, huge thing, and making you think with all their marketing that the Wraith Shangri-La is going to be gracing your home as you listen to it. Like, don't let anybody talk to you. Close your eyes, play it as full volume in your earphones, and experience it. Like, just drag you, just mega marketing. That's really my whole idea is doing my songs like that. Like if I have a show, I'll book it and promote it like 2-3 months out. If I have a song I like, or an album like I did with Burning Bridges, like 2 months ago I put out my teaser for the album, and then since then snippets of songs that I'll put out just to tease you with them, and then just lead up to then the single, then the full blown anticipation of the drop, you know. And I've been told surprisingly a lot by a lot of people it's a very ancient way of marketing. A lot of folks don't do it that way anymore, but it seems to work for me, because I know people that will put out a song every weekend for years, but I don't know any of them. And it's like, how important were they if the next one and the next one, like, let them have a life, let them breathe, let them grow, let people latch onto it, market it a little bit, because the next thing you know, I'm just seeing a new video every fucking Saturday or Sunday, and I don't give a fuck anymore, you know. So it's like, build that reason I should fucking listen to it, build that, like, oh, that sounds fucking dope, I'm gonna check that out when it comes out, pre-save, or this sounds dope, let me listen to some of his old shit, you know.
Yeah, or do what my homie Chuckles wants to do to market his album. He wants that he dropped last year. He wants to release every song on there as a music video. It's like, do that. That's a way to promote the album. Like, try to drop a lot of music videos for that album that you dropped.
Well, my whole thing is not usually like quantity. It's usually more of, for again, and no, I'm not saying anybody's wrong. On my side, my style of it has just been, you know, it's again sort of primitive, but it still sort of works. Like, make the album, find the one or two songs that you want to market to plug the album, and then put the album out. I will tell you though, this might be one of the last albums I do for a while of this length, because Burning Bridges is about 11 tracks. That's 11 fucking songs I got to do live, plus Revenge of the Cock. What did I get myself into, Don Chaos?
Yeah, and then like you said, you got to do the whole promotion of the album too.
And you know what it also is too is, you know, Mike Storm, I've been learning a lot from him, and one of the things he told me is like, I'm just doing singles, bruh. Singles and videos all year. No more albums for a long time. And when I was doing this album, I figured out why, is because I am super hands-on. I do all my own mixing and mastering. And I'm not trained on this shit. I just go by ear, and I use BandLab because I'm a broke motherfucker, like most of us making music. And I'll go on BandLab, and surprisingly, I make my shit sound pretty good. You know, a lot of people ask me, hey, what are you using? I go, this Chinese microphone, a mic shield, $30 headphones, and BandLab. And they go, really? Yeah, but I'm so meticulous with it that it's got to sound good here. Then it's got to go sound good in my car. Then it's got to go sound good on my speakers. Then it's got to sound good on my mini headbuds. Like, and then you start hearing shit, and you're going back and adjusting it. I had over 250 revisions of songs total while making this album. Like, I had to take it out of distribution 4 times because I was finding shit wrong with a song that I had already put it through DistroKid. So there's a lot that goes into this, it, and it'll drive you fucking nuts. But you know, yeah. But at the end of it, it's worth it to just know, like, I did as much of it as I could myself, you know.
Exactly. And that's what I've always done. Like, when I first started doing the show, I didn't have any of this stuff that you see here. It was just me in front of a camera, nothing. Now I have all this stuff, and I slowly work my way to improve it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why when I always introduce myself, I just tell people I'm just your friendly neighborhood juggalo.
Yeah, that's how I'm at. That's how I am out here. But I've been recently just calling myself the most hated rapper in the high desert.
They've got to come up with something. And we're actually going to play another song, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say but that's the thing about this scene is being so unique and knowing, like, hey man, yes, there are guys that are going to be doing shows every fucking weekend, Why? Because they're safe. Because you could bring your kids, you could bring your grandma, grandpa, all these other people, and run the risk of not watering yourself down, but overexposure versus, hey, Lyonz isn't on every fucking show because he's a little bit of a wild motherfucker, but he's still a nice guy. Catch him anytime. So scarcity.
Exactly. And we're at the next song we're gonna play. Where did I see it? I just found it. Where is it? Oh yeah, we're gonna play this song. Oh yeah, the song "In the Desert," which is another dope song.
Not many people have heard that one or requested to hear that one. I like that's a classic.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna play that, and I'm gonna go get a refill on my water. So I'll be right back.
Hell yeah!
All right, y'all. It's ready. There. This is "In the Desert" by Lyonz. Enjoy, y'all.
Time to remove the blindfold. Hands tied behind your back, and it's cold. Looking around, everything is blurry, so just do what you're told. While I grab the Glock and load up. So fucking nervous you throw up. Tapping the barrel against your temple, asking what I'm gonna do. What's elemental? Grabbing the shovel, digging deep enough. Hitting record on the camera, this is real snuff shit. Selling the footage to some sick fucks for a couple bucks. You shit out of luck. Wife sending you a text asking if everything is alright. I replied for you saying having a long night. Sending me a message right back saying
shout out JB Music.
I tell her don't wait up, cause you're being buried in the desert. In the desert. All alone in the desert. In the desert. Put you at your misery. You ain't gonna fuck with me. Now your ass is getting buried in the desert. In the desert. Cause you're being buried in the desert. In the desert. All alone in the desert. In the desert. Put you at your misery. You ain't gonna fuck with me. Now your ass is getting buried in the desert. In the desert. Have any last words for me? I don't fucking care. Now your life is ending in the middle of nowhere. Could have been a good person. Now your situation's gonna worsen. How this gonna go? Gunshots gonna echo. Followed by a thump. That's your body slumped over dead. Leaking from the head. Start to shovel dirt on your body, but I'm lazy. You might call me crazy, so I jumped in right next to you, laughing like a madman while I spoon ya. Because we're getting buried in the desert.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Appreciate that.
I just love how your flow and your voice sounds, and I love how when some of your songs end, there's like that nice echo. It's like the voice is like, oh,
yeah, that was one of the other bad horrorcore tropes. I believe Shaggy even brought it up once. Was all the horrorcore rappers try to sound like this, or like everyone in the scene trying to sound gritty and when you and I'm just like, what if I went the opposite way and just went into my more cartoony, my more cartoony maniacal kind of voice, versus trying to be super raspy. I tried the raspiness when I first started. I think everybody does, and then you eventually sort of find you find your voice and you find your flow. A lot of the flow also ends up coming when I'm writing out the song. So like once I get the hook and I come inside and I'm listening to it and I start typing out what I want, it'll usually just come out. And then I'm listening to it back. Like, how the fuck did I even come up with that? It'll just flow out.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, some horrorcore rappers can sound good raspy, but when everyone tries to do it, it's like, if it's not for you, it's like, no, try to do something. Like there was another horrorcore rapper that did that. He even said, I don't know who it was, but he was like, you know what? We got to show that we can have flow behind that. Let's not all sound the same and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's like, I want to show, yes, I might have a painted face, but I want to show that there's talent behind there as well.
Yeah, like I did a song on Lyontology, my last album, called Cookie Cutter. Mm-hmm. And that whole song is literally just roasting all the other rappers that just look the same, sound the same, make fun of me because I might rap about wild different shit, and I'm not, sounding like everybody. Yeah, it's, like.
And I think that's why people loved 90s rap music and hip hop, because everyone had their own style. Everyone sounded different. Like you could throw on an Outkast song. It sounded nothing like Snoop Dogg. You could throw on like Wu-Tang Clan and it wouldn't sound anything like A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, and again, just classic fucking ICP, dude. I knew I dated a girl who, back when I was a teenager and I was listening to it, she didn't like him, but she's like, my uncle, I was telling my uncle about it and I played him a song, and next thing you know, I see him and he's got all the albums and he starts listening to all of them. What happened? They were just so addictive. It was like it's like the Goosebumps books as a kid, like I guess you got the story, you have the artwork, you have the things you can see in your mind. You think that song from Slick Rick, the children's story.
Yeah, I love that song.
How many fucking times you've heard that shit and pictured the whole thing going on in your head?
Many times.
And that's what my whole idea is. I don't want to envision some dude just doing this in my mind while he's rapping. I want to see I want to see a story play out. I want to see something happen,
Exactly. Or people said music videos should feel like little mini movies again. Like what ICP did with the bowling balls video. They should do a lot of that with their music videos. Make them like little mini horror movies almost.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's kept me from doing a music video. I've been bugged about music videos for a while now. In my mind, I'm the type of person that if I see something in my mind, I want to make it play out to reality as close as possible. Exactly. So like with this show I'm going to do, Burning Bridges at 18 Taps, February 1st. When I picture it in my mind, I don't picture it at any other bar. Even before I booked the show, in my mind, I'm like, this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want to see when I look out into the crowd, and that's how it's going to be. So when I would have a music video idea, right, it's so far-fetched for most people, it just ends up not getting done because I just have I don't want to just shoot another shitty, low budget rap video. You know what I mean? My music is weird as it is. I don't need a shitty low budget video to go along with it to, because it's still my brand at stake at the same time. So I'm very particular on how I'm going to do it. We are working hopefully on a video for No Doubt featuring my homies, shout out G Hippie and Gateway. First Degree, he's been offering to shoot one for us. So we might see my first video in the near future.
Oh, yeah, and that's one thing I love about like your artwork like that you put with your songs. Like you said, you're very animated and all the animated artwork goes like perfect with it.
It has to. You know why?
That even if you weren't filming an actual music video, you could like just do like animated music videos and stuff, and that would pop.
Exactly, and here's why. Same reason why ICP uses the face paint. The character is always going to be there. Doesn't matter how old they are underneath. How many chaos? How many other quote unquote juggalo rappers have these features? White dude, tattoos, goatee,
quite a bit,
facial beard. You know what I mean? So being mindful of that and knowing like I have to set myself to, I can't put my ugly ass face on the album cover. I have to find a way to get people's attention so they just don't look at me just trying to look all hard. They go, who the fuck is this guy? So that's where the artwork comes in. And then they see me and then they go, oh, this can't be the dude. My first rap show I ever did, I was the only white guy. Okay. And it was funny because they were all cool with me. It's no big, I love everybody. It was just funny because they were like, Lyonz, who's Lyonz? And I'm like, I'm right here. They're like, oh, that's you? They're like, okay, come up. And then the first thing I told him, I'm like, I know, like, I look like I'm going to do some stand-up comedy or some shit, you know, but I'm not. I'm going to rap. And the other dude's like, he's going to say some racist shit. He's going to say it from the back. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not. But here, and then I just laid out my set, and everyone liked it. Because, again, it was like, in a world of the same old shit, you had this one weird white guy coming up there, juggaloed out. None of them have ever seen a juggalo probably before. And I'm laying it down, and I'm repping it, and I'm telling them all to go whoop whoop. And these are all people probably never whooped in their life, because it's just a casual bar with regular rappers. But then they eventually, especially some of the younger ones, they'll come up to me, they'll go like, man, you know, it's crazy. I never could have thought anybody could have rapped about a video game, because I have a song called Rage Quit Life, which is all about rage quitting a video game. So I sing that, and I would sing other songs. I have a song with Crip Mac, believe it or not. Nice. So, like, you know, and they would come up to you, they're so entrenched in their own genre, they didn't realize there's this whole other world they could be getting into of just wild storytelling. Like my buddy Gateway, he's a metal singer, and he's on that song No Doubt. Great fucking screamer, growl. He's so fucking talented, and he started doing music a year after me. Rap, that is. He goes, I'm gonna try my hand at rap. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's gotten so fucking good. But he was, a lot of his stuff starting out, he was just like, yeah, I'm having trouble coming up with ideas. I rap a lot about my life and my trials and things I go through. I go, that's cool, but it doesn't always have to be. I said, write a story about something. Why don't you rap about something just wild? Like, who gives a fuck, right? Like, just, it doesn't have to always be something relatable to your life or that's relatable to the audience. Tell a story. So he did a song called Fur and Claw. And I'll hook you up with him. He's a great guy. You might want. He's not a juggalo. I'm his first real juggalo friend. I'm the first juggalo friend of a lot of these dudes, but he's gotten so much love since Juggalo Night that I put out here. He's had a whole big. He loves the scene. He loves the camaraderie and just all the love he was getting. But he did a song called Fur and Claw, and he goes in the shows. He goes, shout out to Lyonz. He told me just to rap about anything I wanted, that I can do anything I want with this mic. So here's a song about becoming a werewolf and destroying my enemies. Let's fucking go. It ended up being such a banger. You would like it too, by the way, Don.
Yeah, definitely have him hit me up. I'd love to have him on the show for an interview.
Hell yeah. We have so many talented people out here that, again, they might not be juggalos, but they, at least on my end, I got them like familiar with the scene and familiar with the style, and they've taken at least an appreciation to it because they've never experienced it before. I did Juggalo Night for the same reason I mentioned earlier. It's hard in my world, like for our style, it's hard for us to get on shows because we're so fucking wild. Like, no, not every show has room for a guy saying my cock is out trying to kill me. You know, not everyone, and also like not every show they want a guy saying slicing bitches up with my katana, even though it slaps.
And I think even especially like how you said, not a lot of people would allow you. I think you would definitely get over well at the gathering. I know, I could tell you would get over well at the gathering.
That's always been my goal, man. It's harder, believe it or not. One thing I learned doing music, it's harder to get over with juggalos as a juggalo than it is for a juggalo to get over with normies.
Right, and that's like my one homies, like Dead Body Corporation. They're juggalos. They make a few juggalo references in their music, but if you were to hear them, you would not think they were juggalos. They just sound like straight rap. Like when they record their music, they do it in $1 million studio. Their producers produced for like a lot of people, like from T-Pain and stuff, and that he gives them a chance. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and you know, nowadays, like I use that juggalo term like as a blanket term for like the style for those that aren't too into the genre, because it's easy for a lot of folks out here to understand. They go, oh, okay, because he is kind of like that ICP stuff. And for me, I sometimes feel like I've wanted to show my stuff to the Juggalo Reddit for so long, but I've just been so fucking afraid of people saying this is shit, you know, because I love the fan, but they are very picky on who they want to. I wouldn't say they gatekeep too much, but they are very particular on who they want representing that style or that term. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's one thing I always tried to do on this show. I was like, yes, I'll interview other jugglers, but I want to interview other people that have like music talent too. Like I've interviewed a metal band a few metal bands now since I've done the show, which is cool. I've interviewed people that are like, I want to interview people that are stand-up comedians, like anyone. Like the whole point of this show is to make sure all the talented people don't get overlooked, because like you said, a lot of talented people get overlooked.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because if you could have the talent, but if no one knows where to find you, if you're not at least your own biggest fan, who else is going to be?
Like I never thought I would be like an interview. I remember when I did my very first interview, I was nervous as hell. And then after I did that interview, everyone told me, they're like, have you ever done an interview before? I'm like, no. And they're like, keep doing it. You did a good job. And of all the people that I interviewed, and of course I was going to be nervous, I interviewed Misery's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nervous as hell. And everyone's like, Dan, you did a really good interview. And he even messaged me afterwards. He's like, dude, that was your first interview? He's like, yeah. He's like, you did really good. And I think that's where a lot of people have gotten comfortable on my show, because I'm not like your stereotypical interview where I pressure people into questions. It's just like a laid back and chill interview, or I ask questions that other interviewers wouldn't ask. Yeah, I ask some of my guests the same questions, but I always know I'm going to get a different answer from them, which is cool.
Yeah, and you know the secret sauce of, everyone loves to talk about themselves, right?
Yeah, like I would love to interview ICP, but I would not ask them the typical questions that everyone already knows the answer to. Like I want to know, what is Violent J's personal favorite albums? What are Shaggy's personal favorite albums? Like stuff like that. People
not just the question, but why, and why to the why, and just a whole question tree of like dissecting that. Absolutely.
Yeah, or I like to ask people, what's an album that has like a big impact on your life or something? Like usually I've noticed, that's why I've noticed I still love to watch ICP interviews, but I'll be watching, I'm like, oh, here they come. They're going to ask the question that a lot of people should know the answer to. I'm like, damn it, I would not have asked that question, because a lot of people know that already the answer to that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is like when they're interviewed by fans, or anybody that can consider themselves a fan, it's hard sometimes for the fan to just the fan side to step aside, and you just to keep it as,
like personal talking.
Yeah, like personal business side. Yeah.
And I think that's why everyone does love to come on my show, because I just make it personal. It's like talking with a homie, basically.
Yeah, homie. For sure.
Like I always tell people, a lot of the people I've had on here, yes, I'm fans of them, but a lot of them are legit my people, basically. Like Scum, he is my mentor. He's given me some of the best advice. Frankie Goldie's always given me the best advice. Ouija's given me the best advice. Even Insane Poetry's given me some of the best advice. Nice. Like I always tell people, when you get advice from people that you look up to, it's one of the greatest things in the world. Or when someone you look up to starts giving you props, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. You don't get an ego, but it feels good, basically.
It's validating.
It's like in the wrestling industry too. Don't come in thinking you know everything right away. No, when you're a young person getting started in wrestling, you have to pay respect to the veterans and the people that paid the way for you. You can't just demand respect. You have to earn it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings me back to my story with Mattapelli was, at the end of their show, I shook to both their hands, and Ant, he shook my hand, gave me daps, and said, "Thank you for being patient with us." Meaning I wasn't being dismissed. It wasn't that they didn't know I was on the radar. It was just, give us some time, let us see what you can do, and let's see when the best time is to give you a chance. And they did. and that to me was validating, because I'll be honest, for the longest time I'm just like, I don't think they like me. Like maybe I'm just not, cut out for this genre. Maybe I'm just going to be the outcast doing this style in front of nobodies forever. But then they gave me that chance, and I'll always be grateful to them.
Exactly. And that's how I've always felt too. Like I was like, okay, I must not be doing good at what I'm doing. But then people come up to me, and even Mad Plays come up to me and go, bro, we've been fans of your podcast since you started doing it. I'm like, no way, you're lying. And they're like, no, we are serious. They're like, you do what other podcasters do. They were like, you are basically how No Jumper used to be when No Jumper was good.
I submitted 2 songs to No Jumper.
Yeah, I've had a lot of homies try to submit their stuff.
No, I did, and they played it on their music review, like they were doing on YouTube, and I'm like, they didn't hate it, right? They were just sort of like, this is different type beat, a little bit of a roast here and there. They were like, Adam on one of my songs, he goes, he raps like a game show host.
And you're like, what?
I laughed so fucking hard, but
maybe you should use that as a sound clip in one of your next songs.
I should. I did a song based on that called "The Lyonz Show" on the
Nice.
Heat, which it is. It's the Lyonz Show. It's pretty much like the Shaggy, like my version of the Shaggy Show, if you were to hear it. But it was pretty good. But yeah, I like your show. I like when people put effort into their production and effort into how they look. I'm sure not everybody can. But
and doing this actually helps with my anxiety. Like for the longest time, I was always nervous about doing stuff like this, getting in front of people. And now doing stuff like this actually does help with my anxiety.
Well, yeah, you're a Leo, and us Leos love to be in front of cameras and be.
I never used to be.
Well, be entertainers in general,
Exactly. And I tell people how Don Chaos is on here is not any different than how I am. How I am on here, I am the same person. I'm the still go happy, go lucky person that you guys know on here.
Very, very true. That's one thing I actually wanted to bring up. Was I was on another interview show I won't bring up, hosted by a really good friend, and I was promoting the album too, and I got a little bit wild in character, and ruffled some feathers, and I ended up apologizing for it, because I got a little bit out of hand. But I'm still the guy that no matter how I might think or I might act or what wild shit I might fucking say, just because as you get older you start giving less of a fuck about what people think of what your beliefs are, I'm still the dude that on my day off, if you needed me, I am there to help you. Like I am still the dude that's going to be, if you get sick, I'm watching your back, making sure you're good. If you need somebody to back you up on stage, I'm there. If you need to go pick up your kid from school because your car is broken down, even if you and I don't agree on maybe bullshit in the world going on that doesn't necessarily affect us, I'm that guy. So I like to let people know, like, yes, like Lyonz is a character. He's a caricature of what of my character turned up to like a million. And yes, I do say some wild fucking shit on burning bridges. Like this album is something that, again, I've had friends say, I can't believe you fucking said that, or like I can't believe you believe that, or I can't believe you would do that or say that about so and so, and they just stop. So yeah, it gets to that point where you just want to be able to say, what, I'm just going to be who I am, believe what I want to believe, and you just be yourself. And that's one other thing I wanted to say is that if you put the pride and the effort into your presentation, it's really important. Like a lot of people don't want to put the money into what they do. Like they don't want to buy their beats. They don't want to pay for mixing or mastering when they should. They don't want to pay $250 for a verse from somebody that might end up giving them a little bit more of a bump. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to spend that money. They don't want to have to pay to play just because they want to get on stage and get some experience. knowing that they're probably not ready, which is why they have to pay to play, right? Like, and lastly, not to call anybody out, but people that do interviews like this, and they're using their fucking SoCal Juggalos in the house.
Oh yeah,
using like their cell phone or something, and they're out and like you can't fucking hear them and it's glitching, you know. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been preparing for this shit. Like, I want to make my camera was set, I got my background set, I got my fucking mic set, wearing the nice shirt. Like, people need to start taking more pride into their shit and taking their shit more seriously. Rant over.
I mean, I hear what you do. Like, I put like a lot, and I do a lot of this by myself. But now for the last some years, you know what? I've been like, you know what? I don't want to put too much stress on myself. Yes, I'm still going to do stuff myself, but now I actually have people that are willing to help me. Like, I have a homie who helps run my official merch store. I've had so many dope artists like do like artwork for me for my merchandise, and I always make sure on my website to give the artist credit for who did the artwork. Like for my recent merch drop, I put my girlfriend's name on it, and she's like, babe, you didn't have to put my name on it. I'm like, but I want to make sure, babe, that you got credit, that your art is getting credit and stuff.
Yeah, because you never know. My artist, his name is Madwew, spelled Madwew. He did my Burning Bridges artwork. He did my Heat artwork, the Shine artwork. He was responsible for Revenge of the Cox artwork. I didn't even really ask for it. He just said, hey, what do you think? This is funny because on my first album, The Shine, it's like the Super Mario 2. Yeah, Mario Brothers 2, where he's holding the turnip, but with me, it's holding a chicken.
Hell yeah.
And then he goes, what if I made one reverse and it was the chicken holding you? And then I said, oh, it's like the Revenge of the Cock. And then that spawned the whole 4-song EP, by the way. Revenge of the Cock, it's a whole fucking 4-song story following the cock trying to kill me. So if you ever get a chance, you smoke a little something, check that motherfucker out, because I was so surprised I did that fucking song right here in my room, and I'm like, wouldn't it be so fucking funny if people just knew me for this song? And next thing you know, I go to shows out here, and then they go, oh, dude, it's the cock guy. So now I'm the cock guy.
Well, I'm going to show you some of my homies, like my homies that I was telling you about, that like where their production is like on par. Like this guy that does production for him, he's like $1 million producer, and they do make a few Juggalo references here and there. But when you hear this, you're not going to think that this is some straight Juggalo stuff. Do you care if I show you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, this is one of those songs that every time I've showed it to anyone, they're like, damn, that song gave me fucking goosebumps. Yeah, these are my dudes out of Florida. They're called Dead Body Corporation. This is actually a song that they did with Frankie Goldie. Like I said, they make a few Juggalo references in the song, but if you were to not hear that reference, they sound like some straight crazy hip-hop, like from the South. So you're going to enjoy this. Get it ready. Like when I first heard this song gave me goosebumps, and it still does to this day. So it probably will for you too. So enjoy.
Let's go.
And we turn the whole crowd to a mosh pit.
Step up in the serpent's lair where ain't none of the same. Kick the door and break the locks, and where's the motherfucking safe? It ain't safe up in this motherfucker shit. Here come the pain. Turn the crowd into a mosh pit, throwing elbows, claws, and legs. Let it rage, motherfucker, let it rage. Crank the terminal up in this bitch. BSC the gang, be the gang. DBC the name. Let it bang, what you claim, motherfucker. Anything and everything else that I choose. Jugging, bitch, you know I'm jugging in my shoes. Wicked clown, she hit the ooze up in the booth. Inspirational, my up in the stool. Super sick, and shit out the mandible. Like the Machiavelli Hannibal. Eat this beat up like a cannibal. Misconstrued, been here dark and confused, but hopefully still understandable. Wolfing out, bitch, I'm an animal. Hit with the poison, no antidote. Joker got no time for anecdotes.
Kick the door and break the locks. And we we turn the whole crowd to a mosh pit.
Yeah, this is a yay.
All around.
Hell yeah.
Everybody safe when we walk in. Kick the door, break the locks, and we turn the whole crowd to a
And here comes Frankie Goldie.
I'm up, kick down the door, I'ma bang my set. Little troublers fade that you laid to rest. Your beats don't play till they face the test. What you looking at here is the main event. So grab it, the pins and the cut the check. Ain't no other way to say it, but the hits that I'm making, I know they're your favorite. A live demonstration of all forms sacred. Bringing it back and we making some changes. Took them to church and they singing the praises. Second forgiveness, you'll burst in the vapors. Cremation flames for all my haters. Crunch time, in the Sin City sunshine. I be ducking them one times. Take the beat and I beat the bitch with a punchline. Every dumb thing you done at the scene, go ahead and mug me and yell out, fuck me. But thanks so weak that they can't compete. All my ops are so obsolete. Talk is cheap, but I'ma still get money. Fuck your bitch, you know I ain't bluffing. Licking the plate and I'm leaving you nothing. Aiming the beam and I'm squeezing a bus.
This chorus always gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nobody's safe. Kick the door, break the locks. Kick her out of the
Body sprinkled all throughout this bitch. In a pattern like a sigil crafted by a witch. Underground trembles when the wolves are deep off in the pit. Third laden fisticuffs will punch you right off in your shit. Dirty dog from Dover. Catch you sitting and it's over. Pep prowling through the crowd, ears perking to the rhythm. Keeping eyes peeled for easy prey and hoping no one's with them. It ain't safe, motherfucker, it ain't safe. Dead body corp off in it, so you know we duck the case. Tap straight on the ground, dropping bodies, and you better mind your business. How you being after all the instinct be the name, but it's more than just a moniker. Shit is second nature, bitch. There ain't no need to monitor. Keep raising hell, so you know we break thermometers and keep the shit moving. All gas, no speedometer.
No speedometer.
Yeah.
All around, everybody safe when we walk in. Kick the door, break the locks, and we turn the whole crowd to a mosh pit.
Hell yeah.
Yep, those are my homies out of Florida. And like I said, you know, you hear some of the Juggalo references, but if you were to not take those out, you'd be like, God damn.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just listening. This is like, oh yeah, this shit rocks regardless.
Well, speaking of Dead by Corporation, one of them's in the chat. So
oh shit. What up? It's Droku. Whoop whoop.
Hell yeah. So
JB.
Droku, Lyonz really loves your music, man.
Yeah, we gotta do
that's
something.
why I said I remember watching them worked in the studio, and those dudes, like, holy shit, like, goddamn, like their wordplay, everything. Both of them are actually in the chat.
Hell yeah.
and that's the whole point of what I do with the show too. Like, I try to bring people together, and eventually people that go, hey, let's do something together.
Hell yeah. Cool. And that's what this scene is really is all about, man. Like, you know, like, hey, like you do shit I fuck with. Yeah, I fuck with your shit. All right, let's fucking do something. Like, let's make some fucking magic happen. You'd be surprised, man, how much good music goes uncreated because of, you know, pettiness between people and egos, you know.
Exactly. And like I said, those dudes, their producer, he's like $1 million producer. So you're like, oh, $1 million producer, but he makes that shit sound crisp and clean.
And we got Six Side in chat as well. My homie Six Side.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Six Side. Fun fact, he's one of the old school homies from when I was 18. We'd go to the Juggalo gatherings, little mini gatherings out here. And then when I started doing music, I saw he was putting on something, and I was like, hey, you know, I'd like to do this, can I get on it? And he goes, sure. And he goes, wait a minute, are you Chris? I'm like, yeah, are you? And then it turned out it's the same motherfucker from when I was 18, reconnecting with me because we both do fucking music.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And SoCal Juggalos, absolutely. He was the first dude to literally listen to my music and say, God, it's a good song, but the mastering, the recording is shit, dude. Like, you got to do something about that. Like, he said, there's nothing worse than a good song ruined by shitty mastering.
Right. And even my homies Dead By Corporation, you would like love all their other music. Like, they literally did a song dedicated to the Hawk 2, and it's so funny.
Man, I'm glad we're able to get those references out while it was still relevant.
Yeah, of course, she tried to sue them. She tried to sue them, and they had to get the things for the song back. I'm like, hey, she's the one who decided to go out and say that on an interview.
Were they sampling her saying it? Is that what it was?
Droku, can you confirm that? Were you guys sampling it? Because I haven't heard the song in a while.
Oh, because I just said it in mine, but I've also sampled people, and nobody gives a shit about me and my samples.
Oh, I guess they were.
Oh, they did.
And it's really entertaining as hell. You have to go listen to it.
I'm going to look that shit up later. You piqued my interest.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of like this show too, is to bring different people together and go, hey, let's work together. Like, I had 2 different artists on my show one time, and they've never heard each other's music. And they're like, you know what? Let's work together. And now they collaborate with each other more. And they always thank me for doing that. They're like, you bring people together and stuff. Like, even people that have done 2 types of music have come together and like have made a good song just by being on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, it's one of those things where you have to do it in the music world. And with our particular genre and the people that listen to our genre, it can be sometimes gatekept, or it could be sometimes just harder to be accepted into it, without having people just know who you are, what you're about, why does your shit sound a certain way, and that's what you're helping with. So, like, kind of shining the spotlight on my style, which I know 100% is different than most of these motherfuckers right now, whether it be better or for worse. It's always fucking helpful,
Exactly. And now we're going to play a few more songs, and then what do you say we get into this giveaway?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're actually going to play the song that you did with Six Side called The End.
Nice. This is one of my favorites. I'm hoping we get to do it live one day. But yeah, this was a fucking good one right here.
Hell yeah. So yeah, y'all, this is called The End, Lyonz featuring Six Side. And then after that, we'll play one of the songs that you did with Will Gates off this album.
Oh yeah.
All right. Enjoy this one, y'all. It's a good.
And again, shout out Six Side. He's a real one. Follow him on YouTube, social media, and really appreciate him being on this with me.
Universe collapsing, only destruction for miles. Seeing your loved ones slaughtered in a bloody pile. Not your mom and your sister. They were sacrificed for survival of mankind moving forward. Skies raining flaming, boulders crashing at your feet. Feel the heat searing off of your skin. It's not quicksand, it's your legs and they're fucking melting. Blood and guts pelting you in the face. Try to escape, but you're stuck in the same place. Grabbing at your legs, but you're too late. Looking up, yelling at the sky as you disintegrate. This is the fate that you were handed. Fuck your family, now you're stranded, trying to destroy just you, but now my sights are expanded, crashing and destroying everything as I landed. This is the end. It's all over. No more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye. Watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end. It's all over. No more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye. Watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end. This is the end. It's all over. No more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye. Watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end. It's all over. over, no more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye, watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end.
Going for the kill shot. Watching motherfuckers suffocate. I'm over here trying to make a billion. While you over there still bitching, trying to make 1 billion. You so silly, you need to say fuck it and get a real job, bitch. You ain't heard. This ain't for you motherfuckers, cause I'm taking over. Yeah. Like the DRE, I keep the bells ringing with the ganja burning bloodshot eyes from a plum bigger than Lizzo's thighs. Hey, remember me from Juggafornia. If you don't, let me break it down for ya. They love the hate and I love the hate, so grab a cup, let's celebrate with lines and this sing. Twist the self-made clown. Twist the self-made clown.
This is the end. It's all over. No more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye. Watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end. It's all over. No more future, no more getting older. Kiss your family goodbye. Watch them die in front of your eyes. This is your demise. Welcome to the end. This is the end. It's over. Get the fuck out. Die. It's all gone. Just die. Die.
Hey, a shout out to Six Side for killing that fucking song with me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. I just love the beat. Like your choice of beats is like phenomenal.
That's one thing about me, and thank you guys in chat for the kind words, man. I appreciate it. It's a classic.
Yep, Dead Body Corporation, both of them are loving that track.
Appreciate that so much, man. Yeah, like the when I do beat, that's one thing I can't do is I can't make beats. I tried. It's not in my blood, and I'm totally cool with admitting that. So I'm just like, you know what? Make a beat, I'll buy the motherfucker. I don't care. Just, you know, and that's why when I was talking about my whole style, I'll walk around my backyard going through beats, beat stars and seeing which ones I want, which ones I like or I listen to. I have some homies on YouTube from India that make me some stuff from time to time. Also, my buddy Jetro, shout out Jetro. He did most of the beats for Burning Bridges. But yeah, like I don't care if I'm not making my own beat. I'll just buy the license and just go with it. Fuck it, you know, because once I hear a beat and I put some words to it, I can't take those words back. Like that is now the song, you know. Like very rarely can I undo it, at least in my mind.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see you perform. Like what I'm trying to do, what I can hope to do this year, like what I've been saying I wanted to do for years, where I hold an annual music festival, but it's not like any music festival. Every year it's going to be for a charity event, and then anyone who wants to come perform will come perform for free. So if we ever get that together, bro, I'd love to see you come perform for a charity show.
Yeah, man, I'm always down. I'm a slut for stages, man.
You dirty slut. And now this next song we're going to play, y'all, before we do giveaways, is called Till I Flip, featuring the one and only Will Gates.
Hell yeah. Will Gates, by the way, fucking shout out to him. It's so rewarding watching Will Gates grow from like your local juggalo in Michigan to getting on with Rockstar Radio and just touring the fucking country. I'm seeing him in all these different states, and man, shout out to Will Gates, and I'm super fucking proud of you, homie.
Same here. That's literally my little bro. And I remember when I finally got to see him perform, like I've always watched footage of him perform, but I finally got to watch him perform last year when he came here to Denver for Gorefest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great, and he always comes through on our tracks, and hopefully I can do some more with him soon.
Hell yeah! Hopefully you and Dead Body Corporation can cook something up, which I know you guys could.
Hell yeah, I'll follow them on Instagram if they got one right now.
They do, and then they have their own separate Instagrams individually as well.
Tight.
Oh yeah, this is called Y'all Till I Flip. Lyonz featuring Will Gates. Let's go.
Whoop.
I just pulled up in a Wraith, thumping, bumping hell's pit. Did the dash of the county jail, now there's 10 coppers on my dick. So I'm swerving up in traffic, drunk up back up on my shit. Flashing lights up in the mirror, but I'm going till I flips. And I just pulled up in a Wraith, thumping, bumping hell's pit. Did the dash of the county jail, now there's 10 coppers on my dick. So I'm swerving up in traffic, drunk up back up on my shit. Flashing lights up in the mirror, but I'm going till I flip, bitch. Till I flip, I'm repping the wicked and killing the shit. Thinking I hold me in jail, I don't need no bail, and I got a cop or a dip. Quit, but first I pop out. I'ma get my brother about the bitch, he been locked down. Got a Glock when the first got beat down. 4 more got shot by a street clown. Hey, why in the fuck would they try me? I make them murder unsightly. I shot from the hip and shot off the dick, and the first one trying to fight me. The next 3 y'all got headshots, cause the last big block got a red dye. I'm checking their bodies for wallets and phones, and folks one had of my bread now. I hit me a lick and I ain't even laugh. I got the keys to his personal whip too, so leaving them will be no stress. Get it, next up I run to my brother's cell, bust him out quick, then we skip bail. I toss him the Glock for the first cop, then we hit the corner, then ran like hell. We got the fuck out of there, found a brace sitting in the parking lot. Put the keys out, hit the start button, started up quick, man I kid you not. I hit the breeze with it, my brother Lyonz riding shotgun. Hell spitting, the speakers thumping, that we kicking out cause we got fun. I just pulled up in a Wraith, thumping, bumping hell's pit. Hit the dash in the county jail, now there's 10 coppers on my dick. So I'm swerving, up in traffic, drunk up back up on my shit. Flashing lights up in the mirror, but I'm going till I flip. And I just pulled up in a Wraith, thumping, bumping hell's pit. Hit the dash in the county jail, now there's 10 coppers on my dick. So I'm swerving, up in traffic, drunk up back up on my shit. Flashing lights up in the mirror, but I'm going till I flip.
So I flip through the channels, it's a breaking news, interrupting family feud. Now your grandma gotta look at you. Lyonz fucking mental, rice be nasty like some lentils. You don't owe shit like a rental, fuck your girl, leave her resentful. Busting caps out the window, hitting pigs in the middle of their fucking eyes. Send them crashing into traffic on the other side and exploding. Hit the fucking gas, that Billy rolling. We on empty, I keep going. Got my blicky and reloading, busting shots at the cops. Till they're chasing fucking stops. Take a drink of bagel and some sandy bars. Hitting parked cars. Wake up, realize how fucked you are. Call your boss, tell him you'll be late. No time to investigate. You can't even locate, I'm already in another state. Banging chicks in the backseat with Will Gates. Filling her up with come and leave her on the interstate.
God damn. You ain't like that. We could drop him off at home or something. Unless you're homeless, drop her off anyway.
Fucking Will Gates, bro. He always makes it fucking more fun. And thanks for following back, Droke. Appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah. And now, y'all, we are going to be doing a giveaway. That is right. We are going to be doing a giveaway. And what are we giving away, y'all? We do giveaways on here, but this is something we've never done before. Lyonz is giving away 2 copies of his brand new album, which drops tomorrow?
Does not drop tomorrow. It actually will drop next Friday. Well, Friday at midnight, technically the 1st. February 1st, but you know how it comes out midnight everywhere. Burning Bridges. It's 11 tracks featuring the likes of other homies such as JB Music, Mike Storm, Gateway, G Hippie. This is an album in which I have lost friends, potentially lost pussy. It is a wild one, and I've got printed copies arriving tomorrow, actually. So yes, I'll be signing those motherfuckers off. Maybe add a little extra and shoot them out to you.
Hell yeah! And we're going to be doing 2 giveaways, y'all, of this album, which I'm sure I'm going to get a copy somewhere down the line.
Of course.
Lyonz is going to be like, I'm just going to give you one. Just
fuck it. I'm always giving shit away.
Yeah, I noticed that most of my guests will do that. They'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to give you one. I'm like, you don't have to. I'll pay for it. And they're like, no, I'm just going to give it to you. I'm like, okay. Hell yeah. So what should people put in the chat to be entered?
Let's do a trivia.
All right.
You could use Google, by the way. If
All
you
right.
so cheating is allowed. So we're gonna do a super simple. Let's do a super simple ICP trivia here.
All right, y'all, get ready in the chat. And is it whoever says it first?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you can, and again, you could Google the question if you could Google the question if you don't know the answer. So okay. Who originally created the Hatchet Man for Psychopathic Records logo?
All right, y'all.
Again, who created the Hatchet Man for the Psychopathic Records logo? Doom, 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 doom. And Twisted Tally got the correct answer. It was Shaggy. Shaggy drew it on a napkin in some fucking restaurant somewhere.
Good job, babe. That's actually my girlfriend.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
She's
man.
the one that I told you that's really good. She like does artwork, she does arts and crafts and stuff, and she does music herself. So if you ever want to check her out and maybe work with her.
Hell yeah. So you do win a copy of Burning Bridges. Again, it'll be arriving tomorrow. Would you mind if I put my Instagram in chat so people could know where to find me?
We do, and it's also in the description as well, too.
Okay, cool.
So if anyone when you need to claim your prize, just message him on Instagram your shipping info, and he'll send it to you as soon as possible.
Yes, please. Instagram is where I live. I don't have a TikTok. Didn't have one even before the ban. So I have a Facebook as well. It comes in handy for a lot of the local work I do. But yes, congratulations, Twisted.
Hell yeah.
Should I drop the second one?
Yes. Now, do we want it to be a trivia or do we want it to be a wheel spin? It's up to you.
Your call.
Yeah, let's do another trivia one. So, next trivia, you go ahead and ask the next one.
Okay. We'll do another ICP one. Just stay with the theme here. Try to make them super simple.
Yeah.
Okay. Who produced the Insane Clown Posse's album, The Wraith, Shangri-La? Who produced The Wraith, Shangri-La? You can Google the answer if you need to.
Yeah, my girlfriend, that's like one of her favorite albums.
Puwal. Was it Puwal? That wasn't the answer I had.
Now, are you asking main producer or like just producers in general?
The main producer. I'm sorry. Oh, actually, no. You know what? He is right. It was, Puwal, Mike P.
There you go. There you go.
It was Mike P. I apologize. Thank you. I didn't know what the Puwal stood for. So
yes, but he was the main one.
Puwal. Yeah, he was the main one.
So good job, Droku. You win a free copy too.
Yes, sir. Just shoot me your shipping info. I can get it out as early as Monday because they show up tomorrow.
Hell yeah, and he'll be signing those as well, y'all.
Yep. It's funny. I've had people ask me to sign their stuff before. It's a pretty humbling experience for kids.
Oh yeah. It is a very humbling experience. Like I've even had people surprisingly have asked me to like sign stuff of theirs and stuff. I'm like, sure. And then they feel weird asking it. I'm like, no, go right ahead.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why when I tell people when they ever see me, just give a dab, give a hug, whatever. I was like, y'all want me to do a video shout out or something? I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, my girlfriend has even signed boobs before.
She signed 2 different. Well, shit.
She's even played a strip club, which is awesome.
Man, she's living all the dreams right now.
Exactly. And she does music just for, she's like, if it takes off, it takes off. But she's like, kind of like how you do it. You're just doing it. You're like, I just want to record and record. If it takes off, it takes off.
Yeah, like, I definitely probably would have cut back on what I was doing if nobody fucked with it. And it's weird because like once people actually like what you're doing, it's really hard to quit.
Hell yeah. And like I said, the whole point of the show, y'all, is to bring people together. So I have a feeling you're going to make some connections and want to work with some people here.
Oh yeah, I already did, man. I'm
proud of my girlfriend because she is currently working on new music, but right now she's actually currently working on her first collab song, and she's never done a song with anyone. So I'm very proud of her for that.
Oh yeah, congrats, Twisted.
Yeah, she's amazing. And even like people have seen like her stage presence when she performs. Like if you actually go here on my channel, I did record her set, and everyone's like, I love her stage presence and stuff. And then her persona is she's a wind-up doll. So she'll like have one of those wind-up things on her back and it like turns as she's performing. It's cool. So see theatrics, y'all.
You have to. You have to stand out.
And she loves theatrics. She's like, you know what? No one in this genre has done like a wind-up doll gimmick. So I'm going to do it. I'm like, and it's good.
Yeah, that's what you want is when people are leaving to be able to go, remember that one person? Or remember that dude with like for me, you remember the dude with the cock mask on stage? Or you just like, do you remember the chick with the wind-up doll thing on her back? Like you got to have something like that for people to be able to remember you by. It's got to be like, remember this blah, blah, blah from them?
Oh, here's what she has to say. Strip shows are the best, especially when you bring a confetti cannon and put money in it. That is pretty fun.
Oh, I'm sure that's great for you guys, huh? or the strippers themselves.
And she's actually played like an open for like numerous people. She's opened for Scum. She's actually done a show with Ouija before.
Oh, and I see SoCal Juggalos here saying that they'll be at my album release party. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming out and supporting us. It's a drive, so your support means everything to me, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah. And if you ever film a music video, man, just let me know and I'll like be in it because I'm coming up with this funny thing. It's like, where's Waldo? But I'm like in like just these random videos. It's like, oh, it's like it's like what Stan Lee used to do in the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah. And whoop, shout out TZ, the world famous TZ.
So what I've always wanted to do is where I'll just randomly show up in like someone's music video, and because I'm called the Karma Millionaire or the Don, like, the logo of the Godfather is like the puppet with the string. So it's like a gimmick where I'm like in all these videos and it's like a puppet master gimmick thing.
Yeah, that's dope.
So everyone's like, oh, Don's in there, or holy shit, how's he's associated with that person? What?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, of course, if you want, we can hang on for a little bit longer, or we could let you go, whatever you want to do.
Oh, we could wrap it up right now. We did a nice chunky 3-hour discussion back and forth, which I highly appreciate the time and the platform, and for just letting me introduce myself to the side that I've been wanting to introduce myself to for so long, and I'm hoping that you guys get a chance to just follow me on Instagram, check out the album Burning Bridges next Friday. It'll be out everywhere. More content will be coming out for it. Again, if you are a fan of that old school Juggalo style from the Riddlebox era, Jekyll Brother era, I'm your man. And again, man, it's been a pleasure being here.
Hell yeah, man. And you're always welcome on the show. I'm glad we were finally able to get you on here, because I know we've been trying to get you on here for a while, but it looks like it was finally able to happen. So like I said,
stars aligned.
You're always welcome on the show anytime, whenever you want to promote something, you're always welcome to come on. Or sometimes I do a thing on the show where sometimes I'll have someone be like my special guest co-host, and they'll like interview someone with me, which is cool.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Just let me know. I'm around.
Will do. And whenever I can get that like benefit show all lined up, I would definitely love to see you come perform there.
Yeah, I'm always willing, and I got great people I could bring too if you need them. So just let me know, man.
Hell yeah, man. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Don. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure. Whoop, whoop. Y'all take care.
Whoop, whoop. And you can feel free to mingle in the chat if you want to, because then we're just going to touch on topics and then we'll get out of here.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys there. Have a good night, guys.
Later. Hell yeah, y'all. That was awesome. Another good interview. We did 2 giveaways tonight, which was amazing. Congrats to Droku and Taylor for winning. Again, there's links to Lyonz' Instagram down below. So just hit him up right now or as soon as possible and give him your shipping info, and he will send you your prizes that you guys have won. Again, his new album that is coming out. It's going to be dope. So let's get into some topics, because we do have a few topics lined up. And for our first topic, we have the one to lead into this next topic. We have the Duke himself, Violent J, to help promote this first topic of the night. And then we'll get out of here. So take it away, Violent J. Hey, that almost rhymes.
What up, y'all? Violent J here, the Duke of the Wicked, letting you know, if you plan on pulling up to JCW's West Coast Tour, that's right, Las Vegas, Tucson, Arizona, and Albuquerque. Yes, Albuquerque. Notice, not only will you see Ouija Mac live in concert and several other acts, but you will also see yours truly. That's right, Violent J will be doing a set as well. You heard it here first. The dates are right here. Pull up. JC Dub is in full effect, and we're going to prove it on the West Side.
Hell yeah. So you guys heard it. JCW is doing a little mini tour in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and that's awesome. And not only are you seeing JCW, you're seeing Ouija Mac perform, as well as some other acts performing. You're also going to get a Violent J solo set, y'all. You know, that's something I need to try to scratch off my bucket list. I've seen Shaggy perform solo numerous times, but you know, I've never seen Violent J perform solo before. Like, the closest thing I've seen to Violent J do a solo set was when he did the 3-Headed Monster tour, but that's when he had Ouija Mac and Isham on stage with him. But I've never seen a Violent J solo tour. So that sounds like a good time. Let's get the background music back going. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. Like I said, I don't want to just now go live for an hour. It's like sometimes I'll do that, but now I want to try to extend the show to 2 to 3 hours sometimes, because I have fun doing this show. Another topic we have lined up for those that are making it to Juggalo Weekend / DCG Con, both nights, there's going to be a DJ Clay after party hosted by DJ Clay, as well as an after party with Shaggy 2 Dope. So there's the flyer for that. Hell yeah. Another show we have coming up is Saturday, March 1st. Project Born is going to be playing in Indiana. Only to get into the show, $15, y'all. $15. Shouts to my homies Project Born. Also tonight, they announced some of the lineup for Tom Wood's The Float this year. So I didn't have that ready, but go check Tom Wood's website because The Float is going down. They announced the lineup for this year. Yes, in Vegas. So it's in New Mexico and Las Vegas, which is cool. Of course, you guys know that. Let's see. Hold on. Replicon is doing their music award. Replicon Radio is doing their awards. Right now, they're getting the nominations for each of the categories, y'all. So the nominations are as follows. So make sure you guys go let them know all who you want to be nominated. These are for last year. These are the events for this year, but they're the 2024 Replicon Radio Awards. So for anyone who did anything last year. So the nominations are as follows. Here's the categories. We have the graphic designer / artist of the year. Again, go on their posts on either Instagram or Facebook and let them know your candidates who you want in all these different categories. The next category is EP / mixtape or collab album of the year. Again, this is all for stuff that happened last year. These are for the year 2024 or last year. And then the next category we have event of the year. Go to where all these categories are on either their Instagram or their Facebook and submit in the comment section, and they will compile all that to get for the nominations. The next category is producer of the year. Who was y'all's favorite producer last year? Like I said, right now they're just taking nominations. All you gotta do is put in more than one nomination. That helps get the nominations ready for the voting process. So, and then the other category is album of the year / underground album of the year. And then finally, we have this topic, which is podcast / content creator of the year. So go vote for who your favorite podcast / content creator of the year. You want Don Chaos to win an award. Go on the comments section of their Instagram or Facebook and type in Don Chaos, the Hours of Chaos podcast. Again, they're just taking nominations. You can put more than one right now. So if you want, go ahead and put Don Chaos in the comments of this one for podcast / content creator of the year. Because last year, we celebrated doing this podcast for 7 years. We did a 7-hour anniversary podcast for the 7-year anniversary. So we're probably going to go out all this year in April for the Hours of Chaos podcast. Because April, y'all, we're going to be celebrating doing this podcast for 8 years. So we'll probably go live for 8 hours. And that's probably how I generated getting affiliate on Twitch, was when I did that podcast for 7 hours, because it was 7 hours on Twitch. So that's probably how I gained affiliate on Twitch. So yeah, those are some of the topics that we have lined up for the night. Again, congrats to everyone who won, but before we go, we have to announce. You guys already know who it is, but who is going to be our guest next week on the Hours of Chaos podcast. So I hope y'all are still here, because next week, our guest live on the Hours of Chaos podcast, drum roll, is going to be the one and only, here she is.
Hey there, it's Twisted Taily. I wanted to invite you all to watch my interview with the Hours of Chaos podcast. Just come hang out, maybe ask some questions, and take it with the underground.
Somehow there's a glitch.
That's right, y'all. That is right. Next Thursday, y'all, we are going to be joined by the one and only, the lovely, Twisted Taily. Live next week on the Hours of Chaos podcast. Same chaos time, same chaos place. Also, it's going to be very awesome. I can't wait. So, what's up, Michelle? Whether you guys are watching this live, thank you. If you're watching the live replay, thank you. Thank you. Of course, shouts to my sponsors as well, who always sponsors the Hours of Chaos podcast and sponsors your boy Don Chaos, Blind Death Clothing. Go check them out down below. And definitely, y'all, go check out this newest drop on my official store. So now you don't always need to go in the description of my videos to go check out my sponsors or my merch store. Now, if you go on my main channel on YouTube, you can go check out my merch store. So go check out this newest drop that we did on my official merch store. It's called the Punkalo Drop. All of that artwork was done by the lovely Twisted Taily. So you guys already know who I am. I am Mr. D to the O to the N to the C to the H to the A to the O to the S. Your friendly neighborhood JUGGALO. The Karma Millionaire. If you don't know, now you know. And if you still don't know, well, then it sucks to be you. Hashtag Underground Unity. Hashtag Underground United, y'all. All right, y'all. Oh, and this Sunday, I'm still possibly going to do my Chaotic Clown Lounge hangout streams that I do on Sundays, but it's not going to be at like 12 or 12:30 like I usually do it. It's probably going to be sometime in the evening this Sunday. And if I don't do one, I don't do one. But if I do one, it's going to be later in the evening. And then Wednesday, make sure you guys are subscribed to Carnival Spirits, because I'm going to be doing a new live series on there. And if you guys want to be guests on there, let me know. I'm doing this new live series exclusively to Carnival Spirits called Hatchet History. And what we do is we do live streams and we do stuff on the anniversary of when an album came out, and they're like classic psychopathic albums. So our first in that series that we are going to do is the anniversary for it's going to be the 21st anniversary for the psychopathic legendary album Zug Island's Crack Tiles. So I'll be doing that live exclusively on Carnival Spirits this upcoming Wednesday. So make sure you guys tune into that. I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway on there. If you guys want to come on there and just talk about Zug Island's Crack Tiles with me, just let me know and I will send the link for you guys to join. And I'm going to be contributing to a giveaway on that stream. I'm going to be giving away an extra copy of Zug Island's Crack Tiles because I do have an extra copy of it. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday, obviously, possibly this Sunday. And then I will see you guys same day, every Thursday for the Hours of Chaos podcast, where we start 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Pacific, and then 5. Wait, I said that wrong. 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and then 5 Pacific. So same, you're very welcome. Speaking of that, Michelle, before we let you go, did you get your prize from Jane Doe? Not, make sure you hit her up on Instagram or have one of your homies Hit her up. Hell yeah. Much love, y'all. And I will see you guys all those days that I said, especially next Thursday, where we will be joined by the one and only Twisted Taylor, in case some of y'all were just joining. So Taylor will be joining us next Thursday. So here's the video again, just so y'all know.
Hey there, it's Twisted Taylor. I wanted to invite you all to watch my interview with the Hours of Chaos podcast. Just come hang out, maybe ask some questions, and take it with the underground.
Somehow there's a glitch.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. I will see you guys. You guys know when I'm usually live. I usually do, of course, content. I record stuff. I do a bit of everything on here. So appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you let everyone know about the Dawn. And yeah, much love, y'all. Whoop whoop. Dawn Chaos signing out. Later, y'all.